Good morning, my dear friend. The sky is still quiet, painted in soft strokes of lavender and gold. The world is just beginning to stir, as the first breath of morning brushes against the earth. In this sacred moment, when night surrenders to light, and the heart is most tender, we meet not by chance, but by invitation. You may be listening from a small room where the curtains are barely drawn, or perhaps sitting in a kitchen with yesterday's dishes still in the sink. Wherever you are, however you feel, know this: you are not alone, and this moment was chosen for you. There is something holy about the early hours, before the noise comes, before the pressure returns. The morning holds space for something deeper. For some, it is peace, but for many, mornings are heavy. You wake not only with your body, but with burdens, worry that crept into your dreams, fear that sat quietly beside your bed, grief that never really left. Perhaps you woke up today fighting to breathe through tears you never meant to cry. Maybe your chest tightens at the thought of what the day might bring. Maybe you are walking through loss so deep, words no longer feel useful. Or maybe you are just tired, soul tired from holding everything together when no one else sees the weight. There is a woman I once knew who used to sit on her porch every sunrise, clutching a mug she rarely sipped from. Her husband had died suddenly, and her world collapsed in silence. She told me the mornings were hardest not because she missed him more in the morning, but because she had always believed that new days meant new hope. And now, with him gone, even the sunrise felt like a lie. She stopped praying for a while. She told me, "I did not lose faith, I just did not know what to say anymore." But she sat there anyway. Every morning, waiting for something to change, waiting for the silence to break. And slowly, it did, not all at once, and not with fireworks, but with whispers, soft moments when she felt God sit beside her. It was in the stillness that she learned prayer is not always words. Sometimes, it is just showing up. Sometimes, it is breathing through the H. And sometimes, it is simply choosing not to walk away. You may be in that same place right now. You may be wondering if anyone hears you, if God sees you, if your prayers matter. I want to tell you with all the honesty in my heart, yes, He does. Yes, He sees. Yes, your voice matters, even when it trembles, especially when it trembles. What you are facing today may feel bigger than you. It may be louder than truth and heavier than hope. But that is exactly where faith begins, not in the absence of fear, but in the choice to trust anyway. Not when everything is clear, but when you dare to believe even in the dark. Faith is not a perfect feeling. It is not reserved for the strong or the unshakable. Faith is for the wary. It is for those who have questions, for those who've cried themselves to sleep, for those who still showed up even when they did not know how to pray. Faith is the step you take before you know where it leads. It is the whisper of your soul saying, "God, I am here," even if you can say much more. And prayer is not about saying all the right words. It is not about having it together. It is about turning your heart toward the one who already knows. already understands, already holds the pieces you can't carry anymore. Prayer is not a ritual. It is not a checklist. It is a conversation, a connection, returning home. This morning, I want to walk with you into that place, into the quiet where heaven listens, into the presence where burdens shift, into the stillness where peace returns. This is not just another prayer. This is your invitation to step out of fear and into faith, to release what you were never meant to hold, to remember who you are and who God has always been. He is not far. He is not silent. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to be present. So wherever you are sitting, standing, curled in a corner, breathe. Let your heart soften. Let your soul lean in. Open the door to this moment and come just as you are. You do not need to earn this space. You were made for it. This is your moment to reconnect, to recover, to rise. Let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning begins with more silence than usual, not the peaceful kind, but the heavy kind, the kind that sits in the chest like a stone, the kind that presses on my shoulders before the sun has even fully risen. I woke up breathing, but barely living. The air around me is still, but inside me it feels like a storm has been raging all night. I did not speak of it yesterday. I did not have the strength. I smiled when I had to, nodded when expected, and went through motions that made me appear whole. But now, here in this quiet space, I come undone. I lay myself bare before you, not because I know how to explain it, but because I know you already see it. You see what no one else sees. The trembling that starts before my feet even hit the ground. The ache that follows me through the day and clings to me through the night. The worries that refuse to loosen their grip. There are no clear words for all of it, only this ache that lingers in the bones. My mind is tired, and my heart feels thin. I do not know how to carry everything anymore, and maybe I was never meant to. Maybe that is why I find myself here again, speaking to you in whispers, because everything louder feels like too much. I am not asking for grand signs today. I am not asking for all the answers or for sudden relief. I am just asking for you to be near, for you to make sense of what I cannot, for you to remind me, in the quiet way you do, that even this kind of heaviness does not scare you away, that even when I come to you weary, you do not turn from me. You do not ask me to be more than I am. You only ask me to come. So I come, carrying this invisible storm, the one no one else knows how to name, the one that comes with old memories, buried fears, and pressure I do not understand. I carry the weight of expectations I never agreed to. I carry guilt for things I could not control. I carry the silence of prayers I stopped praying because I was afraid they would not be answered. But I bring them now, one by one, like fragile offerings. I place them in your hands not because I know what you will do with them, but because I know they are safer with you than with me. I do not need you to tell me to be strong today. I just need to know I am not alone. I need to feel the warmth of your presence in this cold stretch of morning. I need you to help me breathe through the places where my breath catches. I need you to lift the weight, just enough for me to take the next step. Not the whole journey, just the next step. That would be enough for now. Sometimes I wonder if I have failed you by feeling like this. I wonder if faith is supposed to feel more confident, more clear, more brave. But if I have learned anything in these quiet, aching mornings, it is that you are not offended by my weakness. You are not disappointed by my doubt. You do not withdraw when I fall apart. You come closer. You sit beside me in the places no one else is willing to stay. And that is why I come back. That is why I whisper when I cannot shout. Because, somehow, even the whisper reaches you. Today, I do not ask for the storm to be gone. I only ask that you hold me steady in it, that you teach me how to rest even when the sky is gray, that you help me notice the small graces still lingering the corners of my life. I know they are there. I just need eyes to see them again. A moment of kindness, a song that still moves me. The way light touches the wall in the morning. Let those things speak louder than my fear. There are names I carry to people I love who are hurting, people I cannot fix, situations I cannot change. I lift them to you now, not in despair, but in surrender. I have tried to hold it all, and it is too much, so I let go. I let go not into emptiness, but into your hands, into the hands that formed the stars and still choose to carry my heart, into the hands that caught my tears long before anyone else saw them, into the hands that do not shake under pressure. Yours are the hands I trust. And even in the middle of this storm, I say thank you, not because I am okay, but because I still believe you are good. Because even when I do not feel peace, I know you are peace. Even when my life feels uncertain, I believe you remain steady. Even when I cannot see the end, I trust that you are in the middle of all things. That you are with me not just in answers, but in the aching, not just in joy, but in the trembling moments that come before it. So hold me here. Speak where I cannot speak. Breathe where I cannot breathe. Walk with me through this day, not because it will be easy, but because I cannot walk it alone. Let your nearness quiet the voices of fear. Let your love soften the places I have grown numb. Let your presence be my shelter when everything else feels exposed. I am here, and that is all I can offer. But I give it fully. This broken moment, this weary heart, this tired breath. I give it to you, and I wait not for the world to change, but for my soul to remember who holds it. And when I begin to forget again, when the day begins to close and the heaviness returns, remind me that I came to you, that I sat with you, that you did not turn away, that even storms cannot erase the truth of your love. Even this is known by you, and if you know it, then I do not have to be afraid, not of the silence, not of the unknown, not of the weight that once crushed me, because now it has been named, and it has been given, and it is no longer mine alone. Father, you heard me when I could barely form the words. You saw the weight I brought into this morning and welcomed me anyway. You did not need me to be strong. You did not ask me to explain. And even now, though the storm inside me has not passed, something has started to shift, not in the world around me, but within the quiet space between us. The fear is still there, but it does not feel as loud when I speak your name. The ache still lingers, but it no longer feels like it defines me. I feel myself breathing a little deeper, not because the burden is gone, but because I am no longer carrying it alone. Lord, I do not always know how to pray when my emotions are tangled and words feel clumsy, but I am here, and I want to learn how to cry out without shame. I want to speak to you from the most honest parts of my soul, not the polished ones, not the parts that look like faith from the outside, but the parts that are still learning, still breaking, still unsure. I do not want to hold my pain in silence anymore. I do not want to pretend that I am fine when I am not. I do not want to bury the weight and call it strength. Teach me to be real with you, Lord, even when my voice shakes. Sometimes I feel guilty for not being more composed. I hear the world tell me that I should be grateful, that I should smile, that I should move on. But you know, God, you know that gratitude and grief can sit in the same soul, that tears do not cancel out faith, that longing does not mean I have lost trust. And so I come to you with all of it, every contradiction, every unanswered question, every broken piece I have tried to hold together. I bring it all to you, not because I think you will magically erase it, but because I believe you can carry what I can tee. I believe you meet me not in perfection, but in the middle of my most desperate cries. I remember the woman who touched the hem of your garment, not with a speech or a prayer or even permission, just a trembling hand reaching through a crowd. That is how I feel today, Lord. I do not have eloquence or strength or clarity, but I have the reach. I have the desire to touch what is holy, to believe that even now, even here, you still respond to hearts that dare to reach for you. I am not hiding anymore, not behind fake strength, not behind silence. If my tears fall, let them fall in your presence. If my voice cracks, let it crack knowing you are not ashamed of my pain. You are the one who catches every tear, the one who records every cry, the one who draws near when others withdraw. There are things I need to say that I have been afraid to admit, even to myself. I am afraid of being left behind. I am afraid that nothing will ever change. I am afraid that I will always feel stuck in this space between who I used to be and who I long to become. I carry fears I have not named, regrets I have not confessed, and hopes I have buried too deep. But if I can bring them to you, who else can I trust with them? I do not want to filter myself before you. I do not want to edit my truth to make it sound faithful. I want you to hear me as I am, to see me as I truly feel, to meet me in the exact place where I am coming undone. I confess that sometimes I doubt your timing. I wonder if you are silent because you have forgotten. I wonder if you are waiting for me to do something different, say something better, believe more purely, but deep down, I know that is not who you are. You are not a God who rewards performance. You are the one who responds to need. You are the one who sees the sparrow fall and counts the strands of hair I do not even notice. So I bring my doubt too. I bring my hesitation. I bring the parts of me that have been bruised by disappointment, not to accuse you, Lord, but to surrender them, to lay them down, to ask for help believing again. When I look around, it is easy to think I am the only one breaking, the only one hurting, the only one unsure. But I know that all over the world, there are others crying out like me, some with words, some in silence, some with hands lifted, some curled into bedsheets with swollen eyes. And in your grace, you hear every cry. You do not compare them. You do not measure them. You just come close. You draw near to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. That is who you are. You are not scared of the sound of sorrow. You are not distant from suffering. You come into it, sit within it, and hold us through it. So today I do not want to pretend. I do not want to present a cleaned-up version of myself. I want to be the one who kneels in the dust and says, "This is all I have, will you still take me?" I want to offer you my honesty, even when it feels raw. I want to know that I am still welcome, still wanted, still loved when I do not have the answers, when I do not feel strong, when I barely believe in my own voice. Let my honesty be worship. Let my weakness be an offering. Let my need become the doorway where grace walks in. And when shame tries to whisper that I should be stronger by now, remind me that strength is not measured by silence. Remind me that you do not love me less for struggling, that you are not ashamed of me for feeling what I feel, that you are the Father who kneels to meet his child in the dirt, not the judge who waits for them to clean up. You do not need me to be fixed. You just ask me to be open. So I open my heart today again. I open it not because I know what will happen, but because I trust that you will be there in whatever happens next. I lift my voice even if it trembles. I pour out my soul even if no one else understands. I cry out because you are the only one who has ever truly heard me. And I will keep crying out, not in despair, but in belief. Because my voice matters to you, my pain matters, my presence matters. And you are not far, you are here, Lord. As I sit here in the stillness, still tender from what I have just poured out, I realize something quietly stirring inside me. It is not a sudden surge of joy or a wave of peace that erases everything, but a flicker, a memory I did not know I needed. You have met me before, have not you? Not just in grand miracles or loud breakthroughs, but in moments so still I almost missed them. You have been the gentle hand I did not see at the time, the voice that whispered through the clutter of my fear, the silence that was never empty, but filled with your waiting presence. Father, it is strange how grief and grace can walk side by side. In one moment, I am aching, and in the next, I remember the time you carried me through something I thought I would never survive. I did not know it then. I only saw the pain. But now, looking back, I see your fingerprints all over the days I thought were abandoned. The phone call that came just in time. The tear that fell and somehow felt like a prayer. The unexpected kindness that steadied me when I was slipping. The breath I thought I would lost but kept coming, slow and steady. It humbles me, God, to realize how many times you have shown up without needing to be noticed. You did not make a spectacle of your presence. You just stayed. You stood in the quiet corners of my life while I raged, wept, collapsed. You did not rush my healing. You did not shame my struggle. You simply stayed until I could see you again. And now, in this still moment, I remember not with perfect clarity, but with enough certainty to know you have always been there. There is something holy about remembering, not just in my mind, but in my spirit. It is like breathing in the proof of your faithfulness, like tracing back the steps I took in the dark and realizing I was never alone. I remember the nights I could not sleep, and how somehow morning still came. I remember the days I wanted to give up, and how someone always held me back from walking away. I remember laughter that broke through sorrow, light that crept into the corners I thought were unreachable, and peace that did not make sense, but wrapped around me anyway. God, help me not to forget those moments. Help me not to let pain rewrite the story of your presence. I know I am quick to forget. When I am overwhelmed, I often act like I have never known peace before, but I have. You have given it to me in ways that no one else could. And even though I am in need again, even though the H has returned in a new form, I want to honor the truth that you have carried me through before. I want to hold on to the evidence, even if my emotions have not caught up yet. Lord, bring back to me the memories that strengthen my faith, not just the ones with clear answers, but the ones where I survived, the ones where I kept breathing, the ones where I did not have the words, but you heard the silence anyway. Let those memories rise like a chorus in the middle of my fear. Let them sing louder than my doubt. Let them tell the truth when lies try to cloud my heart. I do not need to pretend that everything was easy. It was not. I have walked through fire. I have known heartbreak. I have carried questions that still do not have answers. But you were there. You were in the waiting rooms, the hospital corridors, the empty parking lots where I cried alone. You were in the quiet car rides and the long showers and the wordless prayers. You were there when I did not have anything to offer but tears and time. You were there when I doubted, when I raged, when I shut down. You never left. So why would you leave now? You would not. I know that in my soul, even when fear tries to shake it. I know that the same God who held me together before is still here, still near, still steady. You have not changed. And if you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. Let that be enough for this moment. Let that remembrance be my resting place until peace returns in full. Father, I am learning that sometimes the greatest miracle is not the mountain moving, but the heart resting, not because everything is fixed, because it trusts that you are still who you say you are. I am learning that stillness is not passivity, it is courage. It is surrender. It is choosing to stop striving long enough to remember that I was never the one holding the world together in the first place. You were. You still are. I do not know what today holds. I do not know what burdens will rise again, what thoughts will try to take me under. But I do know this. I have seen you be faithful. I have felt you be gentle. I have known your love in my lowest places, and I carry those memories like armor. They shield me from the lie that says this storm will last forever. They remind me that every valley has a floor, and every night has a morning. So even if my hands feel empty now, I lift them anyway. I lift them not in celebration, but in remembrance. I lift them because they have held your promises before, because they have been lifted by you when I could not lift them myself. I lift them because I know you see me even in the stillness, even in the quiet surrender, even when no one else claps or notices or understands. This stillness is not emptiness. It is sacred. It is the place where you meet me again, where you whisper what the noise tried to drown out, where you remind me that I am not forgotten, not forsaken, not too broken to be heard. You speak here, in the hush, in the pause, in the fragile moments where I come just as I am, not trying to impress you, not trying to fix myself, just trying to remember the last time I survived something I did not think I would. And I did, because of you. I did. So I sit in this miracle, and I breathe. I remember. I trust. And I wait not with fear, but with the quiet courage that comes from knowing I have seen your faithfulness before, and I will see it again, God, in the stillness where I have remembered your faithfulness. Something else begins to rise, something I have tried to avoid, something I have kept hidden in quiet corners of my heart. It is fear, not the kind that screams loudly, but the kind that whispers constantly, the kind that follows me like a shadow and disguises itself as caution or logic. I feel it lingering beneath my thoughts, shaping my choices, stealing my breath before I even realize it is there. And now that I have slowed down enough to see it, I know it is time. It is time to bring it into the light and call it by name. Father, I have learned that the things I refuse to name begin to control me. So today, I speak them these fears I have carried like secrets. I name the fear of failure, the dread of not being enough, the worry that I will lose what little I have left. I name the fear of rejection, of being misunderstood, of giving everything and still not being seen. I name the fear that the future will not be kind, that the past will repeat itself, that the good I hope for will always be out of reach. I name the fear of sickness, of sudden loss, of the unexpected shattering everything I am trying to hold together. These are not small things, Lord. They have haunted my decisions and shaped my reactions. They have crept into my sleep and interrupted my peace. They have been quiet companions on the days I have tried to act brave. But today, I choose not to let them live unnamed. Today, I bring them to you, one by one, because fear only grows in darkness. And you are light. You are truth. You are not intimidated by the weight of what I carry. So I carry it to you. There is a lie buried beneath each of these fears, and I need your help to find them. I need your truth to rise and speak louder. The lie that says I am alone, I give that to you. The lie that says I have to earn my worth, I give that to you. The lie that tells me nothing will change, I give that too. You have never spoken in shame. You have never moved in fear. You have never demanded perfection. You draw near in grace. You speak life. You offer rest. So teach me to recognize the lies for what they are: echoes of wounds, not declarations of truth. God, I ask you to remind me of what is real. Remind me that I am not the sum of my fears, that I am not defined by what frightens me. Remind me that your voice is steady when mine is trembling, that your promises are unshaken by my doubts. Remind me that fear may knock, but it does not get to live here. It may rise, but it does not get to rule. Your perfect love casts out fear, not because fear does not exist, but because your love leaves no room for it to stay. Sometimes I do not even realize how fear has wrapped itself around my heart until it squeezes tight. It is subtle. It hides in planning, in control, in overthinking. It shows up as hesitation when I want to move forward. It pretends to protect me, but it only holds me back. I thought if I worried enough, I could prepare for anything. But the truth is, all I have done is exhaust myself. Worry has not protected me. It has only robbed me. It has kept me from joy, from presence, from peace. So today, Lord, I speak against every fear that has claimed space in my mind. I reject the fear of what might happen and surrender to the trust that you already stand in my tomorrow. I reject the fear of what others think and rest in the truth that you have called me yours. I reject the fear of falling short and lean into the grace that says I do not have to be perfect to be held. I reject the fear of being too much or not enough. You created me with intention. Nothing about me is accidental. Not my voice, not my story, not even the fragile places that still need healing. Father, it is hard to unlearn fear when it has been my companion for so long, but I am tired of walking beside it. I am tired of letting it decide what I can hope for. I am tired of shrinking back when I am called forward. You never once asked me to live small. You never once told me to play it safe. You invited me to trust you, to walk even when the road disappears, to believe even when I cannot see. And though my steps may shake, I want to walk again. I want to breathe without the weight. I want to speak without the tremble. I want to live free. You did not create me to be ruled by fear. You did not design me to be paralyzed by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. You made me to walk in love, to live in hope, to rest in you. So I ask you now to fill every space where fear has lived. Let your peace take its place. Let your truth settle in my bones. Let your voice become louder than every lie that has whispered to me in the night. I do not want to build my days around fear. I want to build them around faith. Even if fear comes again tomorrow, remind me of what I am doing today. Remind me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear win. Let me be brave in ways no one sees. Let me speak truth to myself when no one else is around. Let me walk into rooms with shaky hands but a steady heart, knowing that you go before me. Let me wake each morning with a holy defiance that says, fear does not get the final word. Lord, help me believe that I am safe with you, not safe from pain, not safe from difficulty, but safe in the deepest way, safe in identity, in worth, in belonging. Let me feel that safety settle in, like sunlight through curtains, quiet but undeniable. Let that safety be my shield when the lies return. Let it remind me that I do not have to explain everything to trust you with anything, that I can let go without knowing what will take its place, simply because you are the one who holds all things together. You have never asked me to be fearless, only to be honest, only to be willing, only to come. So here I am, fear and all, naming what hurts, exposing what lingers, trusting that you are big enough for it all. I place every fear in your hands now, every single one, and I wait not for the fear to vanish, but for your love to rise higher, because it always does, it always will. Father, now that I have named the fears that followed me, I feel the space they once occupied beginning to shift. Something deeper stirs, something that does not scream like panic or rattle like anxiety. It is the quiet pull of the familiar, the comfort of old habits, the reflex of clinging to what no longer serves me. And as I lean into your presence, I begin to see it not in a flash, but in a slow, gentle unveiling. There are things I still hold tightly, things I say I have surrendered, but my heart still grips them as if they carry the power to save me. You know what they are. You see them in my hands before I do. They are my rusted bowls, empty things I once depended on, now corroded by time and worn by disappointment, yet somehow still hard to let go. Lord, I do not want to live like this anymore. I do not want to sit in front of your table of abundance while clutching the broken pieces of what used to feed me. I do not want to miss the feast you have prepared because I am too afraid to let go of what I have known. These things I am holding, they are not evil, but they are empty. They are routines, relationships, roles, and identities I have outgrown, but they feel like safety because they are familiar. I have come to depend on them, not because they still work, but because I do not know who I am without them. There were seasons, Father, when these things gave me a sense of purpose or protection. And maybe that was okay for a time. Maybe you even used them in moments of grace. But now, they have become barriers. Now, they keep my hands full of what no longer gives life. Now, they keep me from receiving what you are offering me today. And I know I cannot receive from you with fists clenched around the past. I confess that part of me is scared to live without these things. I am scared of what it means to truly open my hands. What if nothing replaces them? What if I am left with more questions than answers? What if the new you are calling me does not come with instructions, but deeper than my fear? There is a whisper of trust, faint but growing, a knowing that you would not ask me to release something unless you had something better in your hands. Something lasting. Something whole. So I sit here, quietly, slowly loosening my grip, and I ask you to help me let go. Help me release the identity I built around approval, the version of myself I created to be accepted, the role I played to feel worthy. Help me lay down the need to be needed, the pressure to perform, the lie that said my value came from how much I could carry. Help me stop drawing strength from the applause of others and start drawing it from your love alone. I lay down the memories that haunt me, not to forget them, but to stop letting them define me. The mistakes I replay, the moments I wish I could rewrite, the voices that echo shame. I surrender them to you, not because I know how to silence them, but because I believe you can redeem what I cannot undo. You never asked me to erase my past, only to release its grip on my future. I also give you the things I keep holding in secret, the dreams I buried because they did not unfold the way I hoped, The prayers I stopped praying because the answers did not come. The expectations I have placed on myself and others that have only led to frustration. I let go of the resentment, the blame, the disappointment I never fully admitted. You see it all, and you still invite me closer. God, it is humbling to realize how often I have chosen the rusted bowl over the living bread. I have clung to what once sustained me, not realizing it has become an idol of my own making. I have begged for crumbs while you have been offering a feast. I have sat in scarcity while you have whispered abundance. I have built walls of protection while you have held out arms of provision. Forgive me for thinking the broken was better than the unknown. Forgive me for settling when you were calling me higher. And now, in this quiet place, I feel the invitation once again. It is not loud or forceful. It is soft, steady, full of compassion. You are not pulling my hands open. You are simply waiting. Waiting for me to choose freedom. Waiting for me to say, I trust you more than what I have been holding. And though my fingers still tremble, I want to say it now. I trust you more. I trust you enough to release what I cannot carry anymore. I trust you enough to believe that letting go is not losing, but receiving. That surrender is not weakness, but wisdom. That you are not taking from me, but making room for something better. So I give it all. Every broken expectation, every outdated identity, every coping mechanism that numbed but never healed, every excuse I have used to avoid stepping into the unknown, every fear dressed as logic, every false comfort I have leaned on. I give you my rusted bowl, and I reach, even if timidly, for what you are offering instead. What I ask now is simple. Lord, fill what I have emptied, not with things or answers or quick fixes, but with you. Fill my hands with truth. Fill my heart with peace. Fill my soul with the courage to walk forward even when I cannot see where the road leads. Let the release be real. Let the surrender be honest. Let this moment mark a shift not just in my emotions, but in my posture. From clinging to releasing, from surviving to receiving. I do not expect everything to change all at once. I know this process may unfold slowly, but I want it to begin now. I want to keep letting go. Not once, but again and again. Every time fear creeps in. Every time the past calls me back. Every time I am tempted to reach for what I have already laid down. Remind me that freedom is worth it. That peace is found in open hands. That nothing I let go of in your name will ever leave me empty. You are too faithful for that. So take what I give you now. Take what I am still learning how to release, and begin to build something new in me, something unshakable, something rooted in grace, something that finally makes room for joy. Father, now that my hands are beginning to open, now that I have started letting go of the things I clung to for too long, I realize how much I have misunderstood what it means to be strong. Somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that carrying everything was noble, that holding on to burdens in silence was a form of sacrifice, that struggling alone was some kind of holy endurance. But you never asked me to be crushed. You never asked me to prove anything through exhaustion. You never designed me to live beneath a weight you already offered to carry. I have confused pain with purpose. I have worn heaviness like a badge, as if the more I suffered in silence, the more faithful I became. But now, in your presence, I see it more clearly. There is a difference between carrying my cross and carrying what you never placed in my hands. You told me to follow you, not drag behind you every burden I have ever picked up along the way. You said, "Come to you, all who are weary." You did not say I had to fix it first or sort it out on my own. You simply said, "Come." So I come again today, not as someone strong, not as someone with a clear plan or an unshakable mindset. I come as someone weary, someone who is tired of pretending the weight does not hurt, someone who is finally ready to cast, not just carry, to release, not just endure, to trust that the power in this moment is not in how much I can hold, but in how much I am willing to hand over. Lord, I cast the burdens I thought were mine to bear forever, the ones tied to responsibility and obligation, the unspoken pressures I have carried for years, some handed to me by others, some I placed on myself. I cast the worry that keeps circling my thoughts like a storm that never ends. I cast the fear of disappointing those I love, the tension that lives in my shoulders, the constant undercurrent of what if that wears down my hope. I bring you the weight of what I cannot fix, the situations that are out of my hands, the people I love who are hurting, who I cannot rescue, the relationships I can repair alone, the unanswered questions that linger too long. I cast the burden of trying to be everything for everyone, the feeling that if I do not hold it all together, everything will fall apart. That lie has exhausted me. That belief has drained me. And you never asked me to be the glue for anyone's life, not even my own. You are the sustainer. You are the provider. You are the one who holds what I cannot. And now, I let you. I release the grip I have kept on the weight that was never meant to rest on me. And I ask you to teach me how to live lighter. Not careless, but clear. Not selfish, but surrendered. Not detached, but deeply connected to you, the one who carries my soul. There is a difference between carrying a cross and carrying a burden you never called mine. The cross brings life. It is shaped by purpose, anchored in love, led by grace. But these other burdens, they steal breath. They deplete joy. They do not draw me closer to you. They pull me away into survival mode. I am tired of surviving. I want to live again. I want to rise again. I want to believe that casting my cares is not giving up, is giving over. Giving over to the only one who is strong enough to do something with them. God, I ask you now to lift the burdens I have cast into your hands. Not just symbolically, not just emotionally, but in reality. I ask you to shift the atmosphere around me, to replace the heaviness with a peace that does not depend on circumstances, to replace the pressure with clarity, to replace the worry with deep assurance that you are already working behind the scenes. I know there will be days when I forget, days when I feel the urge to pick up what I have laid down. When I reach again for the familiar weight because it feels like control, help me resist that reflex. Help me remember this moment. Remind me that peace is not passive, it is intentional. That trust is not denial, it is surrender. That casting my cares is not weak, it is one of the strongest things I can do. You are not asking me to stop caring. You are asking me to stop carrying what belongs in your hands. You are inviting me into partnership, not pressure, into grace, not performance, into relationship, not religious obligation. That changes everything. That means I can move through today differently, not led by anxiety, not burdened by the fear of what might go wrong, but anchored in the truth that I am not in this alone. So today, as I move through tasks, conversations, and unknowns, let the posture of my heart reflect what I have prayed. Let my shoulders relax. Let my breath deepen. Let my thoughts return to you every time stress begins to build. And when I am tempted to carry it all again, remind me of your nearness. Whisper to me the truth that you are still here, still willing, still stronger than anything I am up against. Let casting my burdens become a rhythm, not a one-time event, but daily habit. Let it be the way I begin each morning and end each night. Let it shape my relationships, my decisions, and my thoughts. Let it create space for joy again, for laughter, for creativity, for presence, for all the things that can grow when I am buried under pressure. Father, thank you for not being distant. Thank you for not waiting until I had it figured out. Thank you for being the kind of God who kneels to help carry what is crushing me. Thank you for reminding me that I do not have to pretend anymore, that you are not glorified in my exhaustion, but in my dependence, that you do not need my strength, you long for my trust. And so, I trust you, with the big and the small, with the known and the unknown, with the questions and the aching silence. I trust you enough to cast, not cling, to surrender, not strive, to rest, not rush, because you are near, because you are able, because you are good, and because I was never meant to carry it all alone. Lord, now that I have released what I was not meant to carry, now that I have placed the heaviness into your hands, I begin to notice how much clearer the air feels around me. But even more than that, I feel a quiet invitation and urging to lift my eyes, not just to cast down the weight, but to choose where I let my gaze rest. It is not just the burdens that exhaust me, God. It is what I focus on, what I replay, what I magnify in the silence of my thoughts. I realize now that what I dwell on either feeds my peace or feeds my fear. And for far too long, I have been staring at the wrong things. You never promised that storms would not come, but you did promise your presence in the middle of them. And I think sometimes the real battle is not the storm itself, but where I look when the winds rise. I can either stare at the waves and sink, or I can lift my eyes and walk, not because the water is not deep, because your hand is always there. I remember the story of Peter, how he walked on water not because the waves were calm, but because his eyes were locked on you. And I also remember how quickly he began to sink when his focus shifted. That moment speaks so clearly to my own heart, because that is what I have done so often: started strong, then sunk in distraction. God, help me shift my focus. Help me become aware of the places where I have let my attention settle on fear, on chaos, on comparison. I see now how easily I have built mental altars to my problems, giving them space and energy they never deserved. I have allowed anxiety to narrate my day, to dictate my decisions, to control the atmosphere in my home. And yet, all along, you have been waiting, not demanding that I fix it, but gently inviting me to look up. Father, I ask you to realign my focus today. Let me become intentional about where I place my thoughts. Let me meditate not on what might go wrong, but on what you have already made right. Not on what is missing, but on what is present. Not on the threat, but on the truth. Redirect my gaze from what is loud to what is lasting, from what is urgent to what is eternal. I do not want to live reactive anymore. I want to live responsive to you, to peace, to grace. You have told me in your word to fix my eyes on what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is everlasting. That does not mean ignoring reality. It means looking beyond it. It means believing that what I see with my eyes is not all there is. And that changes everything. Because when my mind is stayed on you, peace becomes possible even when nothing else around me makes sense. There are so many distractions, Lord, so many voices that compete for my attention. The world moves so fast, and I feel the pull to keep up, to always be alert, to never miss a beat. But what I have been missing most is stillness. What I have needed most is focus, not on headlines or timelines, but on you. Quiet the noise inside me. Settle the rush. Bring me back to the simplicity of looking at you first, before I look at anything else. I know now that peace does not come from having all the answers. It comes from having the right focus. When I fix my eyes on you, I see strength instead of scarcity. I see purpose instead of panic. I see love instead of lack. And it is not that the pain vanishes, it is that it loses its power to define my steps. When you are at the center of my gaze, everything else takes its rightful place. Lord, help me guard my thoughts today. Let me be mindful of what I am feeding my heart. Let me notice when my eyes drift, when my attention settles on fear or resentment or insecurity. Not to shame myself, but to gently turn back, to look again, to remember that I have the ability to choose where my soul settles. Let that be my strength, not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of clarity. You are my clarity. You are the still point in every spinning world. Sometimes I get stuck staring at what I can control. I become overwhelmed by problems I was not meant to solve, by scenarios that have not even happened, and it drains me. It steals my joy before the day has even begun. But if I can catch it, if I can pause, breathe, and refocus, I believe you will meet me there. In that small moment of redirection, you will lift my spirit. You will remind me that I am not meant to figure everything out. I am meant to trust the one who already has. So as I go through this day, let my eyes return to you over and over again. When stress builds, let me look to your peace. When conflict stirs, let me look to your grace. when temptation whispers. Let me look to your truth when sadness lingers. Let me look to your comfort. Let my gaze lead my heart. Let what I focus on shape how I feel, how I act, how I live. And let it all begin with you. Even when I feel weak, even when my faith falters, let my focus hold steady. Let the choice to look to you become my act of worship. Let it be my quiet declaration that you are greater than this moment, that you are present in this breath, that you are worthy of my attention, not just in prayer, but in the way I walk through the world. Fix my eyes on what is true, what is noble, what is pure, what is lovely. Let that be my filter. Let that be my foundation. Father, I want to live today differently. I want to see through the eyes of trust instead of tension. I want to interpret my circumstances through the lens of your promises. I want to stop measuring my peace by my surroundings and start measuring it by your nearness. Because you are near, always near, even when I forget, even when my eyes drift, even when the storm feels closer than the shore. You are here. So turn my eyes back to you again and again. Let it be the rhythm of my heart to see you first, to see you clearly, and to keep seeing you even when the world demands my attention. This is how I will move forward, not with a perfect plan, but with focused faith, not because I feel strong, but because I know where to look. And in the looking, I find you, and in you, I find peace. Father, as I learn to shift my focus toward you, something else quietly begins to stir, something deeper than a passing feeling, something steadier than a fleeting moment of comfort. It is peace. Not the kind that arrives when everything makes sense, but the kind that settles in long before the answers come. It does not knock with fanfare. It does not wait for resolution. It simply enters when I stop expecting peace to follow good news and begin to believe it can live in the middle of uncertainty. For too long, I have waited for circumstances to calm before I allowed my soul to rest. I have told myself I will breathe easier when the diagnosis improves, when the bills are paid, when the relationship heals, when the unknown becomes known. But now, Lord, I see how much time I have spent postponing peace, delaying the quiet you already offered, because I was too focused on outcomes to receive what was already near. You are the Prince of Peace, not the Prince of perfect results. You offer rest, not after the storm, but within it. And that changes everything, because if peace only came after clarity, I would be at the mercy of the world. If it only came after good news, I would be enslaved to every report, every conversation, every closed or open door. But if peace begins with you, if peace is you, then I can have it now, before anything shifts, before anything is resolved, before anything changes. Lord, teach me to welcome peace not as a guest, but as a resident, not as a rare visitor when life is kind, but as a constant companion when life feels fragile. Let peace be what holds me steady when nothing else does. Let it be the unshaken place within me, built not on answers, but on the assurance that you are here, and that your presence is not moved by my chaos. I no longer want to live at the mercy of news cycles, medical results, text messages, or the silence of things unresolved. I want to live rooted in you. I want to breathe without waiting for external validation. I want to rise in the morning and carry peace into the day, like armor, gentle but unbreakable, soft but unshakable. The kind of peace that silences fear not because it ignores reality, but because it trusts a greater one. You told me that you give peace not as the world gives, and I understand now that the world gives peace with strings attached with terms and conditions. But you give it freely. You give it in the middle of grief. You offer it in the waiting. You breathe it into dry places. You speak it into rooms that have not changed. So I open my heart again to receive what does not depend on progress. I open my spirit to the kind of rest that begins in surrender and stays through the storm. There is so much I cannot control, God, and I am learning that peace does not come when I finally take charge. It comes when I finally let go. It comes when I release my grip and choose to trust that even when I do not know what is next, I know who is with me, that even when the outcome is unclear, the presence of peace can still be certain. I trust you to hold me even when I do not understand the path ahead. I trust you to fill the space that fear once occupied. And I trust you to teach me how to protect the peace you have given. Let my peace not be fragile. Let it not be so easily shaken by delay or disappointment. Let it grow deep roots that draw from a well that never runs dry. Let it teach me to sit still when everything around me urges me to panic. Let it remind me that I do not need the world's permission to feel safe. I only need to remain in you. You are the shelter. You are the calm. You are the answer I do not have to wait for, because you are already here. Sometimes I think peace is supposed to feel like nothing, like numbness or detachment. But what you give is different. Your peace is alive. It does not remove my emotion. It transforms it. It quiets the noise but sharpens my clarity. It softens my heart but strengthens my resolve. It makes room for both tears and trust. And that is what I need, Lord. Not the absence of feeling, but the presence of something greater than my fear. Let me learn how to cultivate peace, not just to feel it when it is easy, but to choose it when it is hard, to make space for it in my words, my responses, my silence, to invite it into every corner of my mind where overthinking tries to live. Let peace be the filter I use before I react. Let it shape the way I see others, the way I speak to myself, the way I face uncertainty. And if I lose my peace for a moment, help me notice it. Help me return quickly, not with shame, but with intention. To pause, to breathe, to remember what I have already received. You do not withdraw it. I just forget to rest in it. So gently bring me back each time. Back to stillness, back to quiet, back to you. Lord, I do not know what today will hold. I do not know what will rise unexpectedly, what news may come, what silence may stay. But I know this: I do not have to wait for a breakthrough to live in peace. I do not have to wait for a resolution to walk in calm. I do not have to wait for understanding to choose stillness. I choose it now, with trembling hands, with open heart. I choose peace, not because the world has changed, but because you are unchanged. Let that be enough for today, not the removal of struggle, but the awareness of you in the middle of it. Let that be the anchor. Let that be the melody beneath every loud thought, the still point beneath every uncertain step. Let that be my confidence, not the promise of an easy road, but the presence of a steady guide. So here I am again, breathing in, breathing out, not because the weight has vanished, but because your peace has come to carry me through it. Not because I have figured it all out, but because I have learned to lean in, to stop chasing peace like a finish line and start recognizing it as a faithful companion walking beside me, whispering truth, holding my heart even in the absence of answers. You are my peace, God. Not someday, not after, not eventually, now. Right here, right in the middle of it all. And that is more than enough. Father, the peace you offer, the kind that settles in before the outcome is known, has opened something deeper in me. I find myself standing in the quiet space between questions and clarity. And yet, there is a calm I never expected to find here. But still, there are things I do not understand, circumstances that do not add up, pain that does not seem fair, moments that feel too hard to reconcile with your goodness. And in this space, I come to face the reality that peace does not cancel out confusion. It simply invites trust to take the lead when understanding falls short. God, I want to trust you, not just when I see the path clearly, but especially when I do not. I want to lean into your heart when the map is missing, when the road bends in directions I did not anticipate. I want to rest not because everything makes sense, but because I know you do. I want to walk, even if I am walking through the fog, because your presence is the light at my feet, not a floodlight over the entire road. If you promise to walk with me, then not knowing becomes less threatening. It becomes sacred ground where trust grows roots. Lord, sometimes I want answers more than I want your presence. I admit that I want to solve the mystery, fix the problem, get to the other side already. But you are not in a rush, and you do not always explain everything. You do not owe me a blueprint, and you do not reduce divine purpose to something I can comprehend. And yet, you are patient with me when I wrestle with what I cannot see. You do not shame my confusion. You meet me in it. You draw close when the world feels upside down. You remain steady when nothing else feels stable. So today, I open my hands again not to demand clarity, but to embrace surrender. I release the pressure to figure it all out. I release the expectation that everything has to make sense. I release the illusion that I will only be okay once I understand every detail. Because the truth is, waiting on understanding has only left me spinning. But waiting on you that has never disappointed me. Help me choose trust over control. That is the hard part, is not it? I want to hold the reins. I want to steer outcomes. I want to make sure the ending turns out how I imagined. But you are not limited by what I expect. And your goodness is not proven by how well life aligns with my plans. You are good because it is who you are, not because I get what I want. And I want to learn how to rest in that. Even here, even now, Lord. Sometimes the hardest place to trust you is when I am doing all the right things and still facing resistance, when I pray and listen and obey, and yet doors remain closed or outcomes unravel. I start to wonder if I missed something, if I failed somewhere along the way. But not every closed door is punishment. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is redirection. Sometimes it is the gentle way you guide me to something better than I could have created myself. Teach me to see the detours as grace, not rejection. Teach me to believe that just because I do not understand the timing does not mean you have forgotten the promise. Teach me that what looks like delay may be the space you are using to prepare me for something I am not ready to carry yet. Your wisdom is higher. Your vision is wider. Your love sees further than I can grasp. And I want to trust in that deeply, even when the answers do not come. Father, when confusion tries to cloud my hope, help me hold on to what I do know. I know you are faithful. I know you are near. I know you are working, even when I cannot trace the thread. I know that you never waste pain. You never miss a moment, and you never stop redeeming what feels broken beyond repair. When the unknown overwhelms me, bring me back to these truths. Let them become anchors when my thoughts drift into fear. I am learning that trust is not the absence of questions. It is the refusal to let those questions separate me from you. It is the choice to stay close, even when I do not get the answers I hoped for. It is the decision to hold your hand when the path disappears. It is the quiet surrender that says, even this, Lord, even this I give to you. Let me be okay with not knowing, because you already do. Let me stop searching for peace in explanations and start finding it in your presence. Let me feel safe, not because I have figured it out, because I am held by the one who has. I do not need all the pieces to walk forward. I just need to know you are walking with me. And if doubt creeps in again, because sometimes it will help me return quickly, not to certainty, but to trust, not to having all the information, but to remembering who you have always been. Let my history with you become louder than the uncertainty ahead. Let the memories of your faithfulness in past seasons become a reminder that you have not changed. You carried me before. You will carry me now. God, I am not asking you to make everything easy. I am asking you to keep my heart soft, to keep me teachable, to keep me leaning in when it would be easier to close off. I want to grow, even in the places that feel confusing. I want to become stronger, not by shielding myself, but by standing in the mystery with open hands. You never asked me to be perfect, only willing. So here I am, willing to believe again, willing to trust even when I do not see, willing to keep walking, even with a limp. Let this be the foundation of my day, not clarity, but connection, not certainty, but surrender. I do not know what will come in the next hour or the next week. I do not know what you will allow or what you will protect me from. But I know that whatever comes, you will be there. And that is enough. That is always enough. Father, after choosing trust in the shadows of unanswered questions, I feel you gently drawing me into something deeper. Not louder, not more certain, but quieter. More settled, more surrendered. It is a space I have avoided before because surrender often feels like weakness. It sounds like giving up. It feels like letting go of control without knowing what will come in its place. And yet, in your presence, surrender looks nothing like defeat. It looks like peace. It feels like rest. It becomes the most courageous response I can offer when understanding runs out and striving leads only to exhaustion. God, I want to learn the language of surrender, not just once, but daily, not as a last resort when I am worn down, but as my first choice because I know you are trustworthy. I want surrender to become the rhythm of my heart, the way I breathe in grace and exhale my need to control. I want it to be woven into the words I pray and the thoughts I think. I want it to shape how I respond to fear, how I release my plans, how I face every moment where I feel the pull to grasp instead of yield. So I come before you now, willing to speak that language with trembling honesty. I surrender the version of life I thought I needed to be happy. I surrender the story I have been trying to write in my own strength, the outcomes I have rehearsed in my mind, the timelines I have built around my expectations. I lay down the pressure to make things happen, to force doors open, to prove something to myself or others. I give it back to you, not because I am giving up, but because I finally understand I was never meant to carry that kind of responsibility alone. Lord, surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of trust. It is the quiet choice to believe that your plans are higher than mine, even when I can see them clearly. It is the soft but steady courage to say, I do not need to know, because I know you. And in this moment, I say it again, not just with my lips, but with my whole heart. I trust you enough to let go. Let my surrender begin in the little places, not just the big ones. Let it take root in the way I begin my day, in the thoughts I entertain, in the way I respond when something does not go my way. Teach me to surrender not out of fear, but from love, not from burnout, but from alignment. Let me move through today with open hands, willing to receive what you give and release what you take. Sometimes surrender looks like silence when I want to defend myself. Sometimes it looks like rest when I feel pressure to push. Sometimes it means not fixing what I cannot heal, not chasing what you have not led me to, not rushing when you have asked me to be still. Help me recognize those moments. Give me eyes to see them, and strength to choose surrender even when it feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. God, I have spent so long trying to hold everything together, afraid that if I loosened my grip, it would all fall apart. But I realize now, things have already broken in my hands. Dreams, expectations, even pieces of my identity. And yet here I am still held, still breathing, still surrounded by mercy. That must mean you never needed me to hold it all. You just wanted me to be held. So hold me now, Lord, in the places where I have released control. Come with your presence. Fill what I have emptied. Restore what I have loosened. Replace striving with steadiness. I do not ask for perfection. I only ask for you. Let surrender become not a one-time prayer, but a daily practice. Let it be how I walk through this life with hands open, heart yielded, and steps aligned with your will. When I am tempted to take things back, when my trust wavers and my fears rise, remind me of this moment. Bring me back to this place where I chose to trust again, where I chose to believe that surrender does not make me smaller, it makes room for you to be greater. And that is what I want most, God. Not a life that is tidy and manageable, but a life that is filled with you. You have never asked me to figure it all out. You have never demanded that I perform. You simply ask for a heart that is open. And today, mine is, even with lingering questions, even with a little trembling, even with the unknowns that still wait beyond the next corner, I am choosing to speak the language of surrender, to say yes to you again and again, not because I see everything clearly, because I see enough of you to know I am safe. Let surrender shape the way I pray. Let it fill the silence between my words. Let it be the posture of my soul when I am uncertain, the lens through which I see people, and the pace at which I move through each day. Teach me how to walk slowly enough to hear your whisper, and humbly enough to follow where you lead. And if surrender means letting go of the idea that I need to have all the answers, then let me let go freely. If it means trusting you with what hurts, then help me bring my pain honestly. If it means releasing what I thought I needed, then give me the courage to walk away from what no longer brings life. Whatever it looks like today, help me say yes, not out of obligation, but out of love. Not because I am supposed to, but because I want to. Because I have tasted peace in the letting go. I have found clarity in the quiet. I have discovered strength in the pause. And I want more of that. I want more of you. So I give you this moment, Lord. I give you my heart again, not because it is flawless, but because it is yours, and I trust that in your hands. Surrendered things do not shrink, they expand. They grow. They flourish. They become more than I could have imagined. And that is the life I want, a surrendered life, a steady life, a life that sounds like peace and looks like grace. Father, after surrendering my plans and expectations into your hands, I now find myself sitting in the quiet that follows. There is peace in letting go. Yes, but there is also a strange kind of stillness that creeps in when I stop trying to force the future. And in that stillness, I sometimes feel like I have stepped into a waiting room with no clock, no music, and no sign of movement. It is here where silence settles thickly around me, not loud or harsh, just present. And I confess, Lord, that sometimes your silence feels like absence. I know you are here. I know it in the way my heart still beats, in the breath that gently fills my lungs, in the quiet conviction that has carried me this far. But when my prayers seem to echo back without answer, when I lean in but hear nothing, it is easy to wonder, are you still speaking? Or am I just not listening well enough? Have you turned away? Or are you closer than ever in ways I do not yet understand? God, help me navigate this silence. Help me resist the lie that silence means neglect. I do not want to mistake your stillness for distance. I do not want to confuse your patience for withdrawal. I know there are moments when you choose to whisper instead of shout, to wait instead of rush, to allow space instead of rushing in with resolution. And maybe this moment is more about trust than answers. Maybe you are not quiet because you have left, but because you are drawing me deeper. Still, it is hard sometimes. It is hard when I have poured out my heart, when I have laid bare my questions, and the only reply is stillness. It is hard when I am craving direction, but the next step remains hidden. I start to question if I missed something, if I have done something wrong. But then I remember that you are not the kind of father who abandons. You are the kind who stays. You are not teaching me through absence, but through invitation and invitation to sit longer, to listen differently, to grow stronger in the waiting. Lord, remind me that silence can be sacred, that it is not always a space to fill, but sometimes a space to honor. Let this silence be where my faith matures, where my roots grow deeper, where my confidence in you stretches beyond the need for constant reassurance. Let it become the place where I stop measuring our connection by what I feel and start anchoring it in what I know. You are faithful, even when quiet. You are near, even when unseen. You are working, even when I cannot trace your hand. Help me shift my perspective in this silence. Instead of asking why you are quiet, let me ask what you are forming in me through it. Maybe you are teaching me to recognize your presence in ways that are not emotional or visible. Maybe you are training me to trust beyond the surface. Maybe this stillness is shaping my character, refining my perspective, making room for a deeper understanding of who you are and who I am in you. Sometimes I forget that even Jesus faced silence, that in his moments of deepest agony, when he cried out, he was met with stillness from the heavens. And yet, even in the silence, the plan was unfolding. The love was still working. The victory was still coming. If you were present in the silence then, I believe you are present in mine now. You do not need to speak loudly to be real. You do not need to move visibly to be active. You are still God, even in the quiet. Let this be the season where I learn to rest in your quiet. Not to rush through it, not to resist it, but to lean into it. Let me develop ears that hear even the smallest whisper. Let me become someone who does not panic in the pause. Let me be rooted enough to say, I trust you still, even when all I hear is stillness. Let this silence grow faith that is not fragile, peace that is not shallow, and love that does not depend on constant noise. Lord, if I never hear the answer I hope for, let me never stop believing you are good. Let my trust not be conditional. Let my worship not be silenced by the unknown. Let my devotion grow in the quiet, where no one is watching and nothing is being confirmed. Let my soul settle in the belief that silence is not the absence of movement, it is the invitation to believe without needing proof. Teach me to see you in the gentle places, in the unfolding of ordinary mornings, in the hush before decisions, in the breath between heartbreak and healing. Show me how to find you in stillness, in the warmth of sunlight through a window, in the sound of my own heartbeat as it slows in your presence, in the wordless prayer that rises from deep within, where language does not reach, but you still do. God, I thank you for not performing on command. I thank you for being steady when I am restless, for being present even when I struggle to feel you. I thank you for the way you lead me with kindness, even when I do not recognize the path as kindness right away. I thank you for the lessons hidden in silence: patience, humility, endurance, and awe. And if this silence lingers longer than I expect, let it become a place where I find deeper communion with you, not just answers, but intimacy, not just guidance, but union. Let this be where I stop demanding and start delighting, where I stop doubting and start dwelling. Let this silence draw me into the unshakable truth that I am yours, always, and you are mine, no matter how quiet the world becomes. So here I remain, not waiting for a voice, but watching for your presence, not holding out for a sign, but holding fast to what I know of you. Let the silence be my sanctuary, the stillness my school, the pause my prayer. Because even when nothing seems to be happening, you are always at work, and that is enough for me to stay, to trust, to believe again. Lord, as I continue resting in this quiet space with you, something inside begins to shift. Where anxiety used to rise up in the stillness, now a different invitation unfolds, one that beckons me not just to wait, but to wait without fear, because waiting in faith is not the same as waiting in dread. When I wait with you, I am not wasting time. I am gaining perspective. I am learning how to hold still, not as a sign of weakness, but as an expression of trust. So much of life teaches me that waiting means losing, that to pause is to fall behind, that if I do not move, I will miss out. But you do not work on the world's timeline. You do not measure success by urgency. You are never in a hurry, and yet you are never late. Teach me to align my heart with your rhythm, not the clock. Let me internalize the truth that delay is not denial, and that in your timing, even silence has purpose. Father, the longer I journey with you, the more I realize that some of the most important things happen while I am waiting. Character is formed, pride is trimmed back, and deeper wells of patience are carved into my soul. In this season, help me not just endure the waiting, but embrace it, not just fill it with distractions, but let it become a place of refinement, a sacred classroom where you teach me not only to wait, but to wait well. God, I admit that my natural instinct is to fix, to solve, to act, and when I can do those things, I feel helpless. But maybe that helplessness is not a flaw, it is a doorway, a gateway to surrender, a space where I stop trying to prove my strength and start depending on yours. Waiting humbles me. It reminds me that I am not in control, but I am still held, that even when I cannot see what is next, I am not lost in the dark. I am being led, slowly, surely, even in the shadows. Lord, thank you for not rushing me. Thank you for not requiring perfection. Thank you for being so patient with my fear, my questions, my need to understand. And while you are patient with me, help me to grow patient with you. Let me not treat waiting like punishment, but like preparation. Let it mold me rather than frustrate me. Let it stir hope instead of fear. Because when I wait with you, I am never truly still, I am always being transformed. God, help me find joy in the in-between. Show me how to celebrate the small signs of your nearness, even before the breakthrough arrives. Let me not wait for the moment of answered prayer to rejoice, but to find gladness in knowing you are already working behind the scenes. Even now, unseen by my eyes, you are setting things in motion, shaping hearts, opening doors, and aligning moments I do not yet comprehend. You are writing chapters I have not read, weaving a future that is beyond my planning. Sometimes, I long so deeply for resolution that I miss the sweetness of the process. But today, Lord, I want to choose differently. I want to stop clinging to outcomes and start resting in presence. I want to live this waiting season not as a pause on life, but as part of the life you are giving me. Let me breathe deeply here. Let me be present even while longing. Let me walk each day without fear of what has not come yet. You have shown me before that your timing brings better outcomes than mine ever could. I remember the prayers I once thought you ignored, only to discover you were protecting me from something I could not see. I recall the moments when you withheld something I begged for, only to lead me to something infinitely better. So help me trust again, not just once, but continually, not with clenched fists, but with open hands. Teach me to release every timeline I have clung to and let you take the lead. Lord, it is not easy. The world keeps moving fast. People around me chase answers, rush into decisions, and measure value by how quickly things come. But I want to live differently. I want to live anchored, not anxious, still, not stagnant, hopeful, not hurried. Let this waiting draw me closer to your heartbeat, not just your hand. Let it teach me to know you more than I know the plan. Let it become the place where I hear your whisper clearer than ever before. And if I start to feel forgotten, remind me of the truth. You never leave. You never overlook. You never withhold anything good unless you are preparing something greater. Even when others move ahead, when doors open for them but not for me, help me not to envy their pace. Help me to bless them and trust you still have something intentional, something personal, something perfectly timed just for me. God, strip me of the belief that waiting means doing nothing. Waiting with you is active. It is prayerful. It is full of choosing trust over fear, choosing peace over panic, choosing to show up each day with faith that you are guiding my steps. Even when I do not see movement, my roots are growing. Even when the surface looks still, the soil is doing holy work. So if this season lasts longer than I expected, do not let me waste it. Let me plant seeds of praise right here. Let me wake up each morning not with dread, but with anticipation. Let me believe that this day, this very day, holds hidden miracles. That something in my heart is maturing, softening, strengthening in ways I won't understand until later. Let me live this moment fully, not waiting for joy to arrive, but drawing joy from where I already am. Father, I believe that the one who made the stars is not confused by my timeline. I believe that the God who split the seas and raised the dead can handle the intricacies of my life. So I rest my impatience at your feet, and I let you shape me in the slowness. If you are not in a rush, then I do not need to be. If you are still here, then I am not behind. If you are at work in the wait, then I am exactly where I need to be. Help me to find beauty in this space, in the light through my window, in the steady rhythm of a heart still beating, in the voice of a friend, the kindness of a stranger, the unexpected comfort of a quiet morning. Let me remember that I am not just waiting for something, I am becoming someone. Someone who trusts, someone who is free, someone who is learning that when you ask me to wait, it is not a delay in love, it is a deepening of it. God, as I step more fully into this quiet space of waiting, there is a deeper surrender stirring inside of me. The kind that does not come from understanding, but from choosing to trust even when I do not. There is something powerful about the stillness I have come to know, not because it guarantees answers, but because you meet me here. You remain with me, unwavering, and that changes everything. You transform my uncertainty into sacred ground, a place where I am not defined by clarity, but by communion with you. Father, I sense that trust is not always about believing everything will go as I hope it is about believing you are still good even when it does not. It is not that I stop longing or dreaming, but that I hold my dreams open-handed, that I lean into your wisdom more than my wants. You are teaching me that trust is not passive. It is an act of courage, a choice to keep loving you, walking with you, praising you, even when the path ahead is dim. In this place of quiet faith, I realize how much strength grows from letting go. Lord, you know how much I want to plan, to prepare, to have a map, but you offer something more valuable than certainty. You offer presence. You offer your voice in the silence and your peace in the mystery. You offer grace for today, not answers for tomorrow. And maybe that is what I truly need. Not explanations, but assurance that I am not walking alone, not a forecast, but a friend. So I breathe in the comfort of that truth, letting it settle deeper than fear. I have spent too many moments fearing the unknown, afraid of what might go wrong, afraid of endings, afraid of what I can control. But you are not found in fear. You are found in freedom. You do not invite me to obsess over what might happen. You invite me to rest in who you are. Even in the shadows of doubt, your light is still present. Even when the road is unfamiliar, your footsteps are ahead of mine. And in knowing that, I find peace. God, remind me that I was never meant to carry tomorrow's weight today, that the burden of the unknown is not mine to bear, that my job is not to figure it all out, but to follow. I am not the author, I am the one learning to trust the story you are writing. And what a comfort it is to know you are the kind of author who cares more about my heart than my hurry, more about my becoming than my performance. You write with love, with mercy, with endless layers of redemption woven into each chapter. Lord, when my thoughts race toward what if, steady me with even if the outcome is different than I imagine. You will still be God. Even if the doors remain closed, you will still be my refuge. Even if the road is longer than I hoped, you will still be faithful. Let that truth be louder than every fear, every doubt, every anxious whisper that tries to rise within me. Let it drown out despair and awaken new hope. Hope not in what I can predict, but in who you are. Father, teach me to see the unknown not as a threat, but as an invitation, a space where you do some of your most creative and miraculous work. In the unseen, you form life. In the waiting, you shape destiny. In the confusion, you build compassion. Let me not despise the wilderness, for even there, manna fell. Even there, water flowed from rocks. Even there, your presence was a pillar of fire and cloud. So what do I have to fear if you are with me? God, deepen my awareness of your nearness in these moments that stretch me. Let the H of not knowing become the doorway into deeper intimacy with you. Let it refine my prayers, draw me closer. Soften the parts of me that still resist surrender. I do not need to know everything to trust you. I just need to remember who you have always been. And in that remembering, let peace take root. Lord, thank you for not growing tired of reminding me, for whispering again and again, I am here. Thank you for meeting me not with frustration, but with gentle kindness. You do not shame me for doubting. You draw near when I do. You do not rush me through this process. You walk beside me in it. That kind of love constant, unchanging, is what gives me the courage to face what I can see. I do not need to feel brave to be held by you. God, help me to move through this day with a quiet confidence, not in myself, but in you. Let me take one step at a time, without needing to see the whole road. Let me respond to what is in front of me, without worrying about what is beyond. Let me love fully, give freely, live presently, all while trusting that you are taking care of the rest. Let me not postpone joy until I have answers. Let me find joy in trusting you even when I do not. Even now, as the world stirs and responsibilities begin to pull at my attention, let this moment linger. Let this prayer stretch into my every breath. Let trust be the undercurrent of my thoughts, the foundation beneath my decisions, the whisper that leads my soul when the noise tries to distract me. I want to live in constant conversation with you, turning my gaze back to you again and again, not out of obligation, but out of delight. Father, as the day unfolds, there will be questions. There may be disappointments. There might be things I hoped for that do not happen, and things I did not expect that arrive instead. But you will still be good. You will still be here. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Let me anchor my emotions in that truth, not in outcomes or circumstances. Let me walk through the unknown with the calm assurance that the one who walks beside me is greater than anything I may face. So I offer you every question mark, every unfinished sentence, every wandering thought. I place them in your hands and ask you to breathe purpose into them, to make beauty from what feels uncertain, to shape this season into something I will one day look back on with gratitude, knowing that it was not wasted. It was where I learned truly trust. And that kind of trust is a treasure that no clarity could replace. Lord, as I continue to trust you through what I cannot see, I feel the gentle invitation to surrender deeper. Not just surrender in the moments when I feel weak or confused, but surrender as a daily way of living. Letting go not only of fear, but of the illusion of control that so often disguises itself as wisdom. Letting go of my need to understand every step before I take it, and instead learning to walk with open hands and a heart that listens. The more I release, the more I realize I am not losing anything. I am gaining the peace of knowing you are holding everything. Father, teach me how to live surrendered without feeling defeated. Let surrender be a sacred offering, not a reluctant resignation. When I lay things down before you, remind me that I am placing them into the hands of the one who sees the whole picture, the one who knows every hidden detail and orchestrates all things for good. In the surrender, help me discover the strength of resting in your care, the beauty of unclenching my fists and lifting them in praise instead of pressure. God, I do not want to carry burdens you never asked me to carry. Sometimes I cling to worries simply because they feel familiar, because I have worn them like armor for so long. But you are calling me into a new rhythm, a life not weighed down by what if, but lifted up by what is. And what is true, what is unchanging, what is holy and sure is that you are here. You are God, you are love, and you are able. So I surrender not to the unknown, but to the known certainty of your goodness. Lord, help me surrender the outcomes I have been clinging to, the relationships I have been trying to fix, the doors I have been pushing against in frustration, the timelines I have been trying to rush. Teach me to breathe deeply in the waiting, to see delay not as punishment, but as preparation, to trust that what you are building behind the scenes is far greater than what I could manufacture in my haste. Let me not confuse action with faith. Let me learn the quiet, unseen strength of trusting you with the things I do not yet understand. Father, you have shown me that surrender is not a one-time act, it is a posture, a returning, a decision I make again and again, moment by moment, and each time I do, you meet me there with mercy. You do not scold me for picking back up what I had laid down. You gently lead me back to still waters, back to the truth that I am safe in you, that nothing I release into your hands is lost, it is refined, renewed, and redeemed. God, in this moment, I lay before you the things that have made my heart heavy, the things I have not spoken aloud, the ones I have hidden even from myself. You know them already, and still you wait patiently for me to offer them up. So I bring you the disappointment I have been carrying like a shadow. I bring you the fear that clings to me in the quiet. I bring you the longing for clarity, the ache for change, the restlessness in my chest. I bring it all not because I think you will fix it instantly, but because I know you will hold it with compassion. Lord, help me surrender the stories I have been telling myself, the ones that say I am not enough, that I have missed my chance, that things will never change. Let your voice speak louder than the echoes of shame and doubt. Let your truth rise above the lies that have rooted themselves in the corners of my mind. Replace every false narrative with the reality of your grace. Write a better story in me, one marked by peace, purpose, and abiding love. Father, I surrender the pace at which my life unfolds. I surrender the pressure to perform, to achieve, to prove myself. I surrender the anxiety that says I am behind, that I need to catch up. Instead, let me embrace the divine timing of your plan. Let me walk through this day without comparing my journey to someone else's. Let me stay in my lane with joy, knowing that you lead me step by step, not sprint by sprint. You are not a taskmaster. I am not behind. I am exactly where you want to meet me. God, show me how surrender makes room for joy, that when I stop striving to control, I become more present, more available to beauty, more able to laugh, to breathe, to live fully. When I no longer grasp for answers, I find wonder. When I no longer fight to prove, I find peace. Surrender does not mean I stop caring. It means I care from a place of trust, not tension. Let me bring that spirit into every interaction today. Let my words be soft with grace, my eyes open with compassion, my presence rooted in you. Lord, let this day be marked not by what I accomplish, but by how I abide, not by how much I do, but how closely I walk with you. Let me notice your nudges, follow your lead, and delight in your company. When challenges arise, let my first instinct be to lean into you, not to panic or push. When confusion comes, let me remember that surrender is not giving up, it is giving in to you. It is exchanging my limited sight for your limitless wisdom. Father, I surrender even my desire to feel in control of surrender. Sometimes I come to you wanting to do it perfectly, to release everything in a moment and never look back. But you remind me that grace walks with me, even in this, that you are not measuring my ability to let go. You are marveling at my desire to trust you more. Even my faltering surrender is precious to you. You honor the process. You cherish my heart's intention more than my execution. And in that truth, I find rest. God, thank you for being the kind of Father who welcomes me as I am, who does not demand perfection before granting peace, who invites me to keep coming back, to keep laying down what weighs me down, to keep finding new freedom in your arms. Today, as I breathe in the stillness of this morning, I choose again to trust, to release, to surrender, not just for now, but as a rhythm of living, as a declaration of who you are and who I am in you. And so I walk into the hours ahead not with a tight grip, but with open hands, not with anxious thoughts, but with a surrendered heart. You go before me, you stand beside me, you remain within me, and that is more than enough. Lord, as I carry the spirit of surrender from where we last met, I come to you again, not with demands, but with the willingness to receive. Father, help me to fully embrace the gift of this day. Too often I treat the present moment as a stepping stone to something greater, something I imagine lies ahead. But today, right here and now, is holy because you are in it. You are the creator of time, and yet you dwell within each second I breathe. Teach me not to rush through today, but to inhabit it with reverence, with awareness, with peace. God, I confess how easy it is to become entangled in the whirlwind of expectations. The demands, the to-do lists, the noise that convinces me my worth is measured by my productivity. Quiet that storm within me. Show me that I am not a machine built to produce, but a soul created to abide. Let my accomplishments today be rooted in grace, not in guilt. May I look at the hours ahead not as a test to pass or a burden to carry, but as a canvas where your love will paint strokes of mercy, kindness, and unexpected joy. Father, open my eyes to the wonder woven into the ordinary, the way sunlight pours through the window and wraps around the room like a quiet blessing, the rhythm of my own heartbeat, steady and strong, a reminder that life still pulses through me, the sound of birds outside my door, their songs echoing your faithfulness. Dante, let me miss these moments. Dante, let my focus drift so far into the future that I miss your presence in the now. Help me notice the sacred hidden in simplicity. Lord, when I am tempted to measure this day by what goes right or wrong, remind me that the truest measure is how close I stayed to you. Whether the plans unfold as expected or fall apart completely, may I hold fast to the deeper truth that I am loved, sustained, and guided no matter what. Let me wake each hour with renewed trust, knowing that peace is not found in perfect outcomes, but in perfect surrender. Let my trust in you outweigh my need for control. God, thank you for the small beginnings that often go unnoticed, the seeds planted quietly that will one day bear fruit. Help me not to despise the days that feel slow or insignificant. You are not in a hurry, so why should I be? If you are patient with the process, then let me be patient too. Remind me that every gentle choice to love, to forgive, to pause, to listen, these are not wasted. They are bricks in the foundation of a life built with intention, with trust, with you at the center. Father, sometimes I hold today hostage to yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries. But you call me to freedom. You tell me that your mercies are new this morning, not just philosophically, but tangibly, that I do not have to carry the weight of my past errors into this sunrise, that I do not have to solve the problems of tomorrow before living in the grace of now. Teach me how to be here, not distracted, not divided, but fully here, heart open, soul awake, hands ready to receive what you have for me. Lord, guide my thoughts, they scatter. Bring them gently back into alignment with your truth. Let my mind be filled with whatever is lovely, pure, and noble. Let me think thoughts that build, not tear down. Thoughts that reflect light, not shadow. When my inner voice becomes harsh or hurried, replace it with your whisper that says, "Be still, you are mine." Let me not be swayed by fear disguised as logic or by doubt disguised as realism. Let my mind dwell on your promises more than my problems. God, grant me the courage to be fully present with others today, to look into eyes instead of screens, to listen with my heart instead of just my ears, to pause in conversations long enough to see the person, not just the task. Let my presence bring calm, not chaos. Let me be a vessel of your peace in rooms filled with tension, a quiet anchor when the world feels loud. Let the way I carry myself speak of the hope I have found in you, even without a single word. Father, give me discernment for what truly matters today. There is so much I could give my time to, but only some of it will matter in eternity. Help me to invest in what lasts: relationships, character, compassion, worship. Teach me the art of saying no without guilt, and yes without fear. Let me honor the boundaries you have placed in my heart, and trust that I do not have to prove my worth by stretching myself beyond grace. Lead me to balance, not between good and evil, but between good and best. Lord, I lay before you the quiet H's I carry into this day, the ones I hide behind smiles and business, the longing for answers, for healing, for clarity. I know you see them all. You do not rush me to move past them. You sit with me in the questions. You hold space for my process. And in your presence, even the unanswered becomes bearable. Because what I truly need is not always resolution, is reassurance. Reassurance that you are near, that I am not alone, that there is a reason to hope. God, thank you for the gift of a beginning. Morning is proof that you have not given up on the world, or on me, that the story is still unfolding, that redemption is still at work. Let today be a reflection of that hope. Let it be a day where I choose trust over fear, kindness over reaction, patience over rush, love over pride. Let it be a day where I say yes to the small invitations of your spirit and no to the noise that competes for my attention. Father, I step into this day not with all the answers, but with a willingness to walk with you through the unknown. I do not need to have it all figured out. I just need to remember who walks beside me. You are not far off. You are not waiting at the finish line. You are here, in this moment, in this breath, in this sunrise. And that is enough, more than enough. So with gratitude in my heart and breath in my lungs, I receive this day. I carry the lessons of surrender, the courage of trust, and the quiet joy of your nearness. And as the light grows stronger with each passing hour, may my awareness of you grow with it. May my steps be guided by your peace, my words by your grace, and my heart by your love. Lord, as I step further into this day, I carry with me the stillness you gave in the early moments, the quiet confidence that you are near. Father, I sense your gentle hand leading me from that sacred awareness into the deeper places of trust, where striving ceases and grace begins. Too often I fall into the rhythm of trying harder, pushing further, carrying burdens you never asked me to bear. But this morning, I ask you to teach me how to walk differently, to walk in grace. God, show me the difference between responsibility and restlessness. I want to fulfill my duties, but I do not want to be driven by fear or comparison. Let every task be done in love, not anxiety. Let every responsibility be carried with joy, not obligation. And when I feel overwhelmed, remind me that it is not always a sign of weakness. It may simply be a signal that I have stepped on beyond what you have asked of me. Call me back into alignment with your voice, which never rushes, never condemns, never demands what I cannot give. Father, today I surrender the urge to earn what has already been freely given. I lay down the pressure to prove myself to people, to systems, even to myself. Instead, help me live from a place of belovedness, not as someone chasing approval, but as someone already accepted. Let truth sink beneath the surface of my mind and become the foundation of how I live, how I speak, how I treat others, how I treat myself. Let grace be the lens through which I see today. Lord, help me embrace the pace of grace. The world shouts that faster is better, that more is safer, that success is the measure of worth. But you whisper something altogether different. You say that the mustard seed matters, that the leaven hidden in the dough is working even when unseen, that the kingdom comes quietly, like morning light slowly overtaking the dark. So I choose to slow down. I choose to be present. I choose to believe that your timing is more trustworthy than mine. God, remind me that I am not behind. Not spiritually, not emotionally, not in any invisible race that I have imagined. You are not frustrated with me. You are not disappointed with how long healing is taking or how much I still struggle with fear. You are patient. You are kind. And you never measure me by my performance. Instead, you measure by love. And love is not a stopwatch. Love is not a finish line. Love is a presence, and you are here. Father, when I am tempted to rush ahead or force outcomes, gently pull me back to the present. Show me that sometimes the holiest thing I can do is to pause, to breathe deeply, to listen more than I speak, to let someone else go first, to choose rest even when the world demands hustle. Let my life be a testimony that peace is possible in a world addicted to striving. Let my calm become contagious, not because I have no burdens, but because I know where to lay them down. Lord, I ask you to help me release the weight of expectations, the ones I put on myself, the ones I feel from others, the ones I assume you have of me. Even though you have already said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If something feels heavy today, teach me to ask whether it came from you or whether I picked it up out of fear. Make me aware of what I am carrying that is not mine to hold. And when I recognize it, give me the courage to let it go. God, teach me to receive grace not just as a concept, but as a rhythm, a way of waking, a way of working, a way of relating. Let it soften my edges, slow my reactions, and steady my soul. Let it guard my tone when I speak, my thoughts when I am alone, my decisions when I feel pressure. Let it remind me that progress is not always linear. Some days the victory is simply choosing not to give up. Some days the breakthrough is found in not turning back. Let those be enough. Father, I lift to you the part of me that still believes I must always have it together. The part that is afraid to show weakness, afraid to ask for help, afraid to be vulnerable. Teach me that grace does not demand perfection, it invites honesty. Let this be a day of honest living. Honest prayers. Honest connections. Not polished. Not rehearsed, but real, because you do not bless what I pretend to be. You bless who I truly am, mess and all. Lord, I ask for grace not only for myself, but for the people I encounter. Remind me that everyone is carrying something I cannot see. Give me compassion before judgment, patience before reaction, curiosity before assumption. Let me be a person of grace in conversation, in traffic, in silence, in conflict. Let grace be my default, not my backup plan. And if someone wounds me, let grace shield my heart from bitterness. Let it teach me to forgive, even if the apology never comes. God, I thank you for the slow, steady way you transform me, not through pressure, but through presence, not by shaming me into change, but by loving me into growth. Let that same spirit flow through me to others. Let me be patient with their process. Let me believe in their becoming. Let me not require of them what you have not required of me. And when I grow weary of waiting for myself, for them, for life to make sense, breathe your grace into that waiting place. Father, in this moment, I open my hands again, not to grab for more, but to release. I release the outcomes, the timelines, the fears, the measurements. I release the roles I think I must play. I release the stories I have told myself about how things should be, and I welcome what is this day. This breath, this invitation to walk lightly, to trust deeply, to love freely. Let grace fill the spaces where performance once lived. Let peace take the place of pressure. Lord, as the light continues to pour into this day, let it also pour into the corners of my heart that still strive. Let it shine away the shadows of comparison and insecurity. Let it warm the parts of me that feel unseen or unloved. Let it awaken joy, the kind of joy that does not need a reason. The kind that bubbles up just because you are near, because I am yours, because grace is enough. God, help me not only to walk in grace, but to rest in it. Let me lie down in it when I am weary. Let me rise up in it when I feel renewed. Let grace be the blanket that covers my shame, the pillow that cradles my doubts, the fire that burns away my fear. Let it be the language I speak, the rhythm I move in, the air I breathe. And may this day unfold not as something I must conquer, but as something I am invited to experience with you, moment by moment, step by step. Lord, you see what I cannot. You walk ahead of me, shaping a path that is often hidden from view, yet perfectly formed in your wisdom. Father, from the stillness of grace I carried yesterday, I now step into trust that does not require clarity, trust that does not rely on signs or certainty, but rests in the quiet confidence that you are already in my tomorrow, even when I can trace the way forward. Help me to trust that your hand is steady, your timing is perfect, and your heart is always good. God, I confess how often I crave control. I want to know the steps before I take them. I want to guarantee that if I obey, the outcome will be easy, immediate, visible. But that is not always how you lead. Sometimes you only reveal enough light for the next step, not the whole journey. And in those moments, I feel tension rise between faith and fear, between surrender and suspicion. Meet me there, God, not with rebuke, but with reassurance, Whisper again that I do not have to see the full map to follow the one who made the terrain. Father, when questions rise and answers feel far away, help me remember that faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to lean into you in spite of it. Teach me how to trust when circumstances do not change. Teach me how to stay soft-hearted when prayers feel unanswered. Teach me how to walk forward without demanding proof, without grasping for certainty, without hardening my heart in disappointment. Let trust be the thread that keeps me tethered to you when emotions waver and outcomes delay. Lord, I place in your hands every unknown, the choices looming ahead, the relationships that feel fragile, the needs I can yet meet, the responsibilities that feel too heavy, the open doors I long to find, the closed ones I do not yet understand. Rather than anxiously trying to solve or predict, let me lift my hands in surrender and say, even this, I trust you with. Help me shift from control to consent, from striving to surrender, from fear to faith. You are not asking me to know everything. You are asking me to trust you in everything. God, when I feel discouraged because I am not where I thought I would be by now, remind me that you do not measure me by timelines or accomplishments. You measure me by nearness, and I am near, even in my confusion, even when I can see the way, even when I take small, halting steps. You delight in walking with me more than rushing me forward. Let that truth reshape my pace and restore my peace. I am not behind. I am held. I am not failing. I am being formed. Father, for the places in my heart still hesitant to trust, I ask for your gentle patience. For the pieces of my story still tangled in pain or fear, I ask for your untangling grace. For the situations where my mind races ahead to worst-case scenarios, teach me how to stay grounded in your promises, not imprisoned by my projections. Give me spiritual eyesight not to see every detail, but to see enough of you that I can rest even when details are hidden. Let peace be born in the presence of mystery. Lord, when the voices around me create noise and confusion, when everyone has an opinion, when pressure mounts, when I feel caught between choices, lead me back to your voice. Yours is never chaotic, never harsh, never manipulative. Let me grow so familiar with your whisper that I recognize it in a crowd, that I follow it through the fog, that I lean into it when everything else feels loud and uncertain. Let trust deepen not because I understand, but because I know the one who does. God, when I feel tempted to grasp for quick fixes or impulsive decisions, slow me down. Teach me to wait with wisdom, not worry, to act with clarity, not fear, to move when you move, and to stay when you say stay. Let me not confuse delay with denial or waiting with wasting. Help me believe that every season, especially the ones that seem slow or quiet, is full of purpose. You are doing more than I can perceive. You are weaving unseen goodness into what looks unfinished. Father, remind me that trust is not passive. It is active. It is leaning, listening, choosing over and over to believe that you are enough, that you are near, that you are working. Help me to partner with your promises, even when I feel wary, to speak truth over my doubts, to walk forward even if my steps feel small, to hold hope when circumstances tempt me to let go. Let trust become my song, not just my stance and anthem rising from the center of who I am. Declaring, you are faithful, even here. Lord, give me courage to trust you with the parts of my life that feel fragile, the relationships where love feels one-sided, the prayers I have prayed for years without resolution, the desires I barely dare speak aloud, the dreams buried under the weight of disappointment. I offer these not as ultimatums, but as open hands, not with demands, but with hope. Not to twist your arm, but to say, if these are to bloom, let them bloom by your breath, not my will. And if they are not to bloom, let your peace be the garden instead. God, when trust feels costly, when obedience leads to discomfort, when surrender requires sacrifice, strengthen me with the memory of your faithfulness. Let the past testify to the future. Let every answered prayer, every provision, every rescue echo louder than my current fear. You have never abandoned me. You have never left a promise unfulfilled. You have never required trust without reason. So I trust you again, not blindly, but because history proves you can be trusted. Father, if today holds detours I did not plan, interruptions I did not expect, or pain I did not prepare for, help me meet each moment with the unshakable assurance that nothing surprises you. You are already in every twist and turn. And not only are you present, you are working all things together for my good, even the things that make no sense right now. Let trust be the bridge that carries me across uncertainty into peace. Lord, for every person I love but cannot control, for every situation I care about but cannot change, teach me how to release them to you. Let my trust in you be greater than my worry for them. Let my love for them lead me to prayer, not panic. Let me entrust their stories to the same grace that has been faithful in mine. And when I want to fix, to rescue, to carry what is not mine, bring me back to the place of quiet trust. God, as the sun climbs higher and the day unfolds, let trust accompany me like a steady heartbeat. Let it shape how I make decisions, how I respond to stress, how I interpret what happens around me. Let it be visible not only in what I say, but in how I live with patience, with kindness, with calm, with consistency. Let my trust in you be a living witness that peace is possible in the unknown, that hope is alive even when clarity is not. Father, thank you for reminding me again and again that I do not have to see everything clearly to walk confidently. I only have to keep walking with you. Let that be enough. Let your presence be the evidence I cling to. Let trust be the ground beneath my feet, the wind at my back, the song in my spirit, and the anchor of my soul as this day unfolds. Lord, as I continue walking in trust, I realize how much endurance I need not only to begin well, but to finish strong. Father, it is one thing to start with passion, to proclaim bold faith when the sky is clear and the winds are calm, but it is something deeper, something more costly and sacred, to hold steady when the path stretches longer than expected, when the sky darkens, when results do not align with prayers. So I ask you now for strength, not the kind that shouts loudly, but the quiet resilience that persists, that strength which remains rooted when storms rage and answers are delayed. God, I see how easy it is to grow tired while doing good, how discouragement waits in the shadows, whispering lies about whether my efforts matter, whether my faith is producing fruit. Sometimes, I feel like I pour out from an empty vessel, like I am giving all I have but seeing so little change in return. I am tempted to wonder if you see, if you notice, if you still care, but deep within, there is a flicker that tells me you are not silent, even when you are unseen, that you are working in ways far beyond my ability to measure. So help me, Lord, not to lose heart in the waiting, not to give up in the pressing, not to surrender to weariness when I was born to endure. Father, grant me eyes that can see beyond the temporary. Teach me to weigh what truly matters, not applause, not comfort, not immediate results, but obedience, faithfulness, and love. Let me measure my days by the seeds I plant, not just by the harvest I witness. Let me rejoice in the unseen roots, not only in the visible fruit, because what you are building within me: patience, integrity, compassion, perseverance is just as sacred as anything you may do through me. Let my inner life be a garden you delight to dwell in, even when no one else sees its beauty. Lord, I bring before you the moments when I want to quit, when disappointment aches like a wound and hope feels thin, when I question the cost of obedience, when I wonder if it would be easier to stop caring so deeply. In those moments, do not just give me relief, give me resolve. Strengthen my spine and soften my heart at the same time. Let my soul rise not in bitterness, but in boldness, not in frustration, but in faithful expectation. Let the weight of the calling press me closer to you, not push me away. God, thank you for being the kind of Father who does not grow weary of my weariness, who does not condemn my questions or hide when I struggle. You meet me in the middle of the mess, not just at the finish line. You walk with me when I limp, not just when I run. So today, I choose to lean into you instead of leaning on my own understanding. I choose to stay the course, not because I see all the results, but because I know you are worth it. Let that conviction anchor me more than feelings ever could. Father, let endurance become more than just surviving. Let it become a testimony of joy in adversity, of peace in pressure, of hope in hardship. Make me someone who can praise even in the middle, who can worship with tears still fresh, who can declare your goodness even while waiting for breakthrough. Let my faith be resilient, not perfect, not unshakable every moment, but real, rooted, and always returning to you, because the world does not need more people pretending to be strong. It needs people honest enough to admit weakness and bold enough to invite you into it. Lord, I pray for endurance in the places that test me the most, in relationships where I feel misunderstood, in responsibilities that stretch me thin, in routines that feel thankless, in seasons that feel stagnant. Remind me that what I am building today in quiet obedience will one day stand as a monument to your faithfulness. Let me persevere not with resentment, but with reverence. Let me do the small things with great love, the hard things with humble trust, the daily things with divine intention. God, when I am tempted to compare my journey with someone else's, teach me how to return to the lane you have marked out for me. Let me celebrate others without questioning myself. Let me trust that what you have called me to matters, even if it is unseen by the crowd. Protect me from distraction, from envy, from the illusion that louder is always better. Let my life be built on consistency, not comparison, on devotion, not drama, on faithfulness, not fame. You are not calling me to be impressive. You are calling me to be faithful. Father, help me remember the power of showing up, of continuing to love even when I feel depleted, of continuing to believe even when the outcome is uncertain, of continuing to serve even when it goes unnoticed. These are the quiet victories of the faithful. These are the invisible trophies in your kingdom. Let my reward not be found in recognition, but in your nearness. Let my satisfaction not be rooted in success, but in surrender. Let my joy be found not in how easy the road is, but in who walks it with me. Lord, for every yes I have whispered when I wanted to say no, for every act of obedience that cost me comfort, for every sacrifice made in secret, for every tear shed in silence, I trust you to redeem it all. Nothing is wasted in your hands. Nothing is overlooked by your eyes. Every weary sigh is heard. Every hidden hurt is held. Every silent prayer is stored. You are the keeper of my soul and the giver of strength. So I will rise again today, not because I feel ready, but because you are my readiness. God, let my endurance become an offering. Let the way I keep going be a song of praise. Let it be a light for someone else's path. Let my life preach a sermon of resilience, that even when things did not go my way, I did not give up. That even when I was disappointed, I kept showing up. That even when I was misunderstood, I kept loving. That even when I did not see the miracle yet, I stayed in the place of prayer. Let that kind of quiet, courageous faith be what defines me. Father, thank you for walking with me in every chapter, not just the ones I want to share. Thank you for standing with me when I am too weak to stand. Thank you for reminding me that endurance is not about striving harder. It is about surrendering deeper. Not about pushing through in my own strength, but about falling into yours as I step into the rest of this day. Let me carry this truth with me. I am not alone. I am not forgotten. And I am not fighting in vain. You are here. You are strong. And you are enough. Lord, as I continue to walk through the unfolding moments of this morning, I am reminded again that time belongs to you. Father, your clock does not tick by human hands. Your calendar is not governed by my expectations. And yet, in my limited view, I often grow anxious when things do not move as fast as I hoped or unfold the way I envisioned. But you, God, are never late. You are never hurried, never scrambling to fix what seems delayed in my world. You move with purpose, even when the pace feels painfully slow to me. God, I confess that sometimes I treat time as an enemy, as though waiting is a punishment or a sign of disfavor. But deep down, I know that every delay is held within your sovereignty, that your silence is not absence, and your slowness is not neglect. You are the master of the seasons, the one who causes seeds to sprout and rivers to flow, not one moment before or after their ordained time. So help me trust you in the pauses. Teach me to rest in the spaces where I cannot see movement, but must believe in your invisible hand working beneath the surface. Father, I bring before you every area of my life where I have grown impatient, the dreams I have carried for years that still feel distant, the prayers I have whispered night after night that seem unanswered, the relationships I have longed to see restored, the doors I thought would open but remain closed. In each of these things, remind me that your delays are not denials, that you are not withholding good from me, but preparing something better, deeper, and more lasting than I could orchestrate myself. Remind me that waiting with you is not wasted time. Lord, give me peace in the process. Let my heart be anchored not to outcomes, but to your character. Let my trust not be based on how quickly things come to pass, but on how surely your promises are fulfilled. I do not want to be someone who only believes when blessings are visible. I want to be someone who praises while still waiting, who trusts not because everything is working out, but because you are trustworthy no matter the outcome. Make that kind of faith grow stronger in me with each passing day. God, in the waiting, help me keep my hands open. Help me not cling so tightly to my own timeline that I miss what you are doing now. Let me be attentive to the present, not just obsessed with what is ahead. Let me notice the gentle nudges, the small graces, the hidden blessings you place along the way. Sometimes, the thing I am waiting for is not what you are working on. Sometimes, you are growing patience in me instead of producing a result. Sometimes, you are healing old wounds quietly while I am fixated on external breakthroughs. Help me see the deeper work you are doing, even when it is invisible. Father, I know that part of trust is letting go of control, letting go of the pressure to fix, to force, to figure everything out. So I release my timelines to you. I release my internal deadlines. I release the burden of trying to prove something through progress. I release the fear that things are moving too slow. Let me instead embrace this moment as a sacred place of transformation. Because when I yield to your timing, I allow you to lead. And when you lead, even detours become destiny. Lord, when others move ahead faster than me, when their stories seem to unfold effortlessly, when they receive what I have been praying for, I ask you to guard my heart from envy and despair. Let their blessings be a reminder of your goodness, not a reason to question my worth. Let me rejoice in their season while still trusting in my own. Because what you are preparing for me is not inferior or forgotten. It is just different. It is mine, tailored to my journey, measured with care, designed by your wisdom. I do not want someone else's path. I want yours for me. God, give me the courage to trust you even when nothing changes, when days blur together and progress seems invisible. Let me cling to the truth that you are working in silence, that roots grow underground before fruit appears above, that sometimes the miracle is the endurance, the faith that keeps showing up without signs. Let that kind of trust be my testimony. Let it be enough to know that I am not alone in the waiting. You are beside me, Even when I do not hear footsteps, you are with me, even when I can trace the plan. Father, I believe that your timing is perfect because you are perfect. Your ways are not random. Your pauses are purposeful, and your promises are never empty. I have seen you come through before, and I choose to believe you will again, even if not in the way I expect, even if not in the time I hoped. You are still faithful. Help me not to worship the outcome, but to worship you, not to depend on arrival, but to rest in the journey. Let my soul learn to sing even in the slow unfolding of your will. Lord, thank you for every door that has not opened yet, for every prayer that has not been answered in the way I imagined, for every chapter that has not begun, because in these spaces, you are teaching me to trust. You are inviting me to lean not on what I see, but on who you are, and that kind of faith without guarantees, without clarity, without shortcuts. That kind of faith is precious. It is refined in fire. It is born in quiet places. It is deep and real and lasting. Let that faith rise in me. God, let my life become a rhythm of trust. Let each breath I take be a reminder that I do not have to rush, that I do not have to run ahead, that I do not have to force what you have already planned. Let me walk in step with you, not behind and not ahead. Let my pace match your peace. Let my desires align with your heart. Let my waiting become worship, and let that worship transform my inner world, so that no matter how long the journey, I walk with joy, knowing I am exactly where you want me to be. Father, as this day unfolds, I choose again to release every anxious thought into your hands, every fear about timing, every doubt about whether things will come together, every weight of wondering when. I choose instead to trust that today has its own purpose, that what I need for this moment has already been provided, that your grace will meet me not in yesterday or tomorrow, but here, right now, and that is enough. Lord, help me to live this day not as someone striving, but as someone surrendered, not as someone racing the clock, but as someone resting in you. Let this be a holy pause where I remember that time does not rule me, you do. And you are good. You are present. You are always on time. Lord, as the stillness of morning begins to stir with life, I return to you with a heart that longs not only for peace, but for strength that does not wear out by noon, strength that is not shaken by circumstance, strength that does not depend on how I feel, but on who you are. Father, you know the path that lies ahead today, and even though I cannot see the twists or the burdens it may bring, I trust that you have already gone before me. I am not stepping into the unknown alone. I am stepping with you, carried by your grace, upheld by your presence. God, I do not ask for a life free from difficulty. I ask for the kind of endurance that outlasts every storm. I ask for the courage to continue, especially when I feel weary. You know the weight of this journey. You know the fatigue that creeps into my bones, the discouragement that sometimes whispers louder than hope. But you are the source of unwavering strength. You lift those who are bowed low. You breathe energy into faint hearts. You promise rest to the soul that leans on you. So I lean, Lord, not because I am weak, but because you are strong, and I would rather walk slowly with you than run alone. Father, when I feel tempted to give up, speak into my spirit again. Whisper that I am not forgotten, not abandoned, not wandering in vain. Speak truth over the lies that tell me I will never make it through. Remind me that endurance is not the absence of hardship, but the refusal to be overcome by it. That perseverance is a form of worship, sacred, gritty, holy, and every time I choose to rise again, even after stumbling, I declare that my hope is alive, my faith is rooted, and my trust is still anchored in you. Lord, I ask you to help me embrace the slow process of becoming. Sometimes I want results so quickly that I miss the beauty in the small daily victories, but transformation does not happen in a flash. It is built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. Strength grows in repetition, in rising again when it is easier to stay down, in choosing kindness when I feel depleted, in continuing to sow seeds when I have not yet seen a harvest. Remind me that you are not rushing my growth. You are developing something lasting within me, something deeper than what eyes can see. God, when I feel pressure to appear strong, help me remember that true strength is not in appearance, but in surrender. I do not have to pretend that I have it all together. I do not have to carry burdens in silence or wear a mask of composure. You do not ask me to be unbreakable. You ask me to be willing to come as I am, willing to keep walking even when the road feels steep, willing to trust that your strength will show up exactly where mine runs out, and in that place, I will discover that what sustains me is not my own might, but your mercy renewed every morning. Father, give me resilience that does not crumble under pressure. Give me patience to endure when the answers are slow in coming. Give me clarity when confusion clouds my mind. Let your word be the lamp that lights each step, not the full path, just the next one. And that is enough. I do not need to see the entire picture to take one more step forward. I only need to believe that you are walking with me, steady and unshaken. Lord, help me to be faithful even when progress feels invisible. Let me keep doing good without growing weary. Let me serve when no one sees. Let me love when it costs something. Let me speak truth when silence feels safer. Let me keep showing up again and again, knowing that you notice every act done in faith. My strength is not measured by applause or recognition, but by obedience and quiet consistency. And you, God, are shaping me most in the hidden places, where only you and I know the cost. God, when others look at my life, let them not just see someone who succeeded. Let them see someone who did not quit, someone who pressed on, someone who fought battles no one knew about and kept trusting anyway. Let my testimony be one of endurance, not because I was extraordinary, but because I was held by you. Let my story encourage others who feel like they are barely hanging on. Let my life speak hope to the weary, strength to the broken, and light to those still walking through the valley. Father, I pray for strength not just for myself, but for every soul waking up today feeling overwhelmed. For those who feel they have nothing left to give. For those silently carrying pain, exhaustion, or fear, be near to them. Lord, be their strength, Be their comfort. Be the reminder that they are not alone. Let them know that even their breath is a victory. That getting out of bed today is an act of courage. That putting one foot in front of the other is a triumph worth celebrating. Let your gentle encouragement carry them where their energy cannot. God, I do not need the day to be easy. I need you to be with me in it. And you have never failed to show up, even in the hardest hours. You have been there silent but steady, unseen but unfailing. You have caught my tears, held my trembling hands, and whispered peace into panic. I carry those memories with me as proof that I can keep going. Because if you were faithful before, you will be faithful again. That is not wishful thinking, it is lived experience. My history with you is filled with evidence of endurance made possible by grace. Lord, build in me a spirit that does not waver when tested, a soul that does not retreat when battles rage, a heart that does not shrink when the way is unclear. Let my faith rise like morning sun slowly but surely, pushing back the night with quiet confidence. Let strength flow through me not as a roar, but as a deep, steady current. Let it carry me through whatever today demands. Father, thank you for reminding me that strength is not a one-time gift, but a daily portion. That I do not need to store up all the energy for the future. I only need enough for today. And you will meet me again tomorrow with more. So I release the pressure to be everything all at once. I receive the grace to be present, to walk in what this day asks of me, to breathe deeply, to take each moment as it comes, knowing you are enough for it all. God, as this morning unfolds into the fullness of day, I carry with me not just a hope for success, but a prayer for perseverance. I want to make it through this day with my heart intact. I want to respond with love, even when provoked. I want to keep moving forward, even when tempted to stop. I want to honor you, not just in the moments that shine, but in the ones that stretch me. Strength for the journey, that is my prayer. And I know you hear it, Lord, in the quiet breath between rising and running, between intention and action. I come again to seek you not only for strength to endure, but for wisdom to discern. Father, I have come to realize that not everything demanding my attention deserves my energy. Not every opportunity is a calling. Not every voice is meant to be followed. And so I ask today, with all my heart, grant me wisdom, not just the knowledge of what is good, but the clarity to know what is best. As I move forward into the unfolding of this day, guide me through the noise with the stillness of your presence. God, it is so easy to be swept up by the urgent, to be carried by the expectations of others, to say yes when I should pause, to overextend myself in the name of responsibility. Yet even you, in all your infinite power, chose rest. You chose silence. You chose moments of solitude. You chose what mattered most. Teach me to walk in that rhythm. Remind me that peace is not the absence of activity, but the alignment of my actions with your will. And that wisdom is not about always knowing more, but often about doing less of what does not nourish my soul. Father, help me filter each decision through the lens of what truly matters. Let me not chase the illusion of being busy while becoming empty. Let me not be distracted by things that glitter but have no eternal weight. Let me invest my time in the things that build, that bless, that breathe life not only into my own spirit, but into the lives of those I touch. Let today be lived on purpose. Let each choice I make reflect a heart that is rooted in you and not swayed by passing trends or fleeting pressures. Lord, when I feel indecisive, calm the turbulence within me. When I am pulled in too many directions, remind me that I am allowed to slow down, to say no, to choose wisely rather than hastily. Remind me that wisdom does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers in the pause, in the silence between impulse and response, in the space where you are waiting to guide me. If only I would listen, make my spirit quiet enough to hear you. Let my desires be refined by your truth, not by my fears, my pride, or the approval I sometimes crave. God, give me wisdom in the small things, not just the grand, in how I spend my minutes, in how I respond to others, in what I dwell on in thought, in what I speak over myself. Give me the insight to see where I am sowing seeds, not just where I want quick fruit. Give me the courage to pull back from what is good if it keeps me from what is sacred. Give me the grace to accept that I cannot be everything to everyone and still remain faithful to what you are asking of me. Father, I surrender my plans into your hands again. Not because I do not value them, but because I value you more. I invite you to interrupt my to-do list, to rewrite my priorities, to gently shut the doors that lead me away from peace, to open only those that lead me deeper into love, into purpose, into the quiet certainty that I am walking the right road, even if it is narrow. Even if few understand it, even if it means going against the current. Lord, I ask you to protect my focus today, to shield my heart from distractions dressed as duties, to guard my time from being stolen by things that do not matter, to help me resist the urge to measure my worth by how much I have accomplished. Let me measure by faithfulness, not by fullness, by depth, not by speed. Let me find satisfaction, not in crossing off a list, but in walking closely with you. Let me seek first the kingdom, and let the rest fall into place as you see fit. God, remind me that wisdom is often the courage to walk away, to release what drains, to step back from what steals joy, to recognize that just because I can does not mean I should. Let me not confuse productivity with purpose. Let me not pursue outcomes at the cost of obedience. Let me not miss your voice because I am too loud in my own head. Break through, Lord, if you must, but let me hear you again. Father, you promise to give wisdom freely to those who ask without doubting. And I believe you are faithful to that promise. So I ask boldly, not for brilliance, but for discernment, not for perfection, but for alignment. Help me to weigh my words before I speak, to consider the impact of my actions, to recognize when my motives are pure and when they are tainted by ego, fear, or comparison. Shine a light on my intentions. Let me choose what is honest and humble. Lord, I pray for the kind of wisdom that honors others, even in disagreement, that holds boundaries with kindness, that leads not with control, but with compassion, that seeks truth without arrogance, that reflects you not only in what I choose, but in how I choose, in the spirit with which I make decisions, in the grace with which I admit mistakes, in the openness to learn from those who walk beside me. God, I also pray for wisdom in how I care for myself, in what I take in how I rest, in what I allow to fill my mind and spirit. Teach me to recognize when I am pouring from an empty cup, when I need to retreat and refill, when silence is more powerful than speech, when stillness is more fruitful than striving. Let me be wise enough to pause before burnout, to breathe before breaking, to ask for help before drowning. Father, let today be a day of wise stewardship of my thoughts, my time, my words, my energy. Let every part of me reflect a person who walks with purpose, who listens before reacting, who gives without depleting, who serves from a place of overflow, not obligation. Let me move not from pressure but from peace, from a center that is steady because it is rooted in you. Lord, help me not to fear missing out, but to trust that what is meant for me will never require me to compromise my peace, that the doors you open will not lead to chaos, that the things you call me to will align with the person you are shaping me to become. Let me be okay with missing opportunities that are not mine. Let me celebrate others without comparing paths. Let me walk with the confidence of someone who knows that when you lead, the way is always right, even if it is slow, even if it is unseen by others. God, I give you this day not just to bless, but to shape, to prune what needs letting go, to deepen what needs maturing, to align what has wandered. Give me the clarity to see the next step, not the whole map, just enough to walk forward with faith. Let wisdom guide my feet, anchor my heart, and fill my mouth with words that build rather than break. I trust you, and I trust that when I ask for wisdom, you will not withhold it. Let today be marked by choices made in love, in clarity, in trust, and in the quiet assurance that you are leading me well. Lord, as I sit with the thoughts carried from yesterday and the uncertainties of tomorrow, I find myself needing to return to this moment, this breath, this now, and in this sacred space. Father, I just want to say thank you, not for anything specific or dramatic, but for this present moment itself, for the miracle of being here, for the quiet whisper of life that continues even when I am distracted, overwhelmed, or weary as the world spins with demands and deadlines. You offer me stillness, a chance to look around and simply be aware of what is. God, help me not rush past this. Help me not wait for perfect circumstances to recognize how deeply I am blessed. Let me find gratitude in the simple things, in the inhale that comes without effort, in the sunlight warming the corner of my room, in the sound of a bird that sings with no audience but you. These are the holy reminders that life is not only found in milestones, but in the ordinary made sacred by awareness. Help me to not miss what I already have while chasing what I think I lack. Father, I thank you for the strength I did not know I had, the healing that is happening beneath the surface, the prayers you are answering in ways I cannot yet see. I thank you for the people who show up in my life in quiet ways, whose kindness does not make headlines, but leaves a lasting mark. for the moments of laughter that sneak in through the cracks of hard days, for the times when silence speaks louder than words and peace arrives without explanation, for every sunrise that reminds me you have not given up on the world or on me. Lord, I do not want to live on autopilot. I do not want to wake up years from now and realize I have been sleepwalking through blessings. Wake me up to wonder again. Make me a student of beauty, a collector of grace. Let me notice how the leaves shimmer in the light, how a child's laughter carries innocence, how even my tears are evidence that my heart is still soft enough to feel. Let me not measure my life only by what has been achieved, but by what has been deeply experienced. God, I know I am not promised ease, but I am still grateful. I know some days will ache more than others, but even then, I trust you are close, and for that, I give thanks. I thank you for being near in sorrow and in celebration, in confusion and in clarity, in waiting and in breakthrough. I thank you for every morning that arrives, regardless of whether I am ready for it, and for the invitation it brings to begin again, to breathe again, to believe again. Father, teach me to hold gratitude as a way of being, not just a feeling that comes and goes. Let it shape how I respond to challenges, how I speak to others, how I care for myself. Let gratitude become the soil where joy grows, where contentment takes root, where fear finds no place to cling. Let it not depend on what I have, but on what I see, on what I choose to notice and name as good, even in seasons of lack or uncertainty. Lord, today I choose to say thank you even when I do not understand, even when prayers are unanswered in the way I expected, even when doors close that I begged you to open, because I trust your wisdom, because I know your timing is kinder than my urgency, because I believe that every detour, every delay, every no is wrapped in the kindness of a Father who sees the whole picture. And so I thank you, not only for what you have given, but for what you have withheld, because both are part of your care. God, help me to give thanks for the parts of me that are still in process, for the places that are not healed yet, for the habits I am still breaking, for the growth I am still fighting for. Let me see even my struggles as proof that I have not given up, that you are still at work within me, that grace has not stopped flowing. Thank you for not expecting perfection, for never measuring me by my performance, but always by my willingness to turn back to you. Thank you for welcoming me, not when I have it all together, but especially when I do not. Father, I am grateful for the chance to begin again, for the mercy that meets me each morning, for the truth that even if I failed yesterday, even if I doubted or stumbled or spoke out of fear, today is a new invitation, a fresh page, a clean start. And I thank you, for never growing tired of giving me one more chance to walk in light, to choose peace, to return to love. Let that grace not be wasted on me. Let it change how I live, how I speak, how I give. Lord, help me be grateful for the unseen, for the prayers whispered on my behalf by others, for the dangers I did not know I avoided, for the ways you protected me from myself, for the lessons I have learned through hardship that I could not have learned any other way, for the resilience that was born through pain, for the humility that came through failure, for the faith that deepened when everything else was stripped away. God, thank you for being patient with me, for not rushing my process, for not resenting my slow learning or my fragile trust. Thank you for walking beside me when I have wandered and waiting for me when I have hesitated. Thank you for never using shame to pull me back, but always love. Always tenderness, always arms open wide. Thank you for being the kind of God who does not give up on people like me, who sees not only who I am, but who I am becoming. Father, I am grateful not only for the answered prayers, but for the quiet companionship in the ones still waiting. Thank you for being the kind of presence that does not need to fix everything to be felt, that just being near is enough, that even when you are silent, you are still good, that even when the road is unclear, your love is unwavering, that no matter how far I feel, I am never truly lost, because you always know where I am. Lord, thank you for the moments of clarity that come like sudden sunlight through clouds, for the reminders that I am not alone, for the unexpected kindness of strangers, for the songs that move my spirit, for the scriptures that speak exactly what I needed, for the moments I laughed when I did not think I could, for the peace that came without explanation, for the love that continues to find me again and again. God, let my gratitude shape this day. Let it soften my responses. Let it open my hands. Let it make me more generous with grace, more patient with others, more anchored in hope. Let it remind me of what really matters and release me from the grip of comparison, anxiety, or regret. Let it center me not in what I fear, but in what I know to be true, that I am held, I am seen, I am loved, and that is enough for today. Father, thank you for today, just today, for what it is and what it may become, for the people I will meet, the choices I will make, the challenges I will face, the beauty I will see, the lessons I will learn. Let me not waste it in worry or resentment or rush. Let me live it fully, with eyes wide open, with a heart that notices, with a spirit that remembers that every breath is a gift. This moment is a gift, and I do not want to miss it, not 1 second of it. Father, now that I have sat still long enough to recognize the beauty in today, I realize how much trust it truly takes to live this moment without needing to control the next. Trust does not come easily, especially when the future looks foggy and the path ahead seems unsure. But Lord, I do not want to live gripped by fear or always reaching for answers you have not given yet. I want to learn to walk forward with confidence, not because I know what is coming, but because I know you. God, teach me what it means to move by faith, not by sight. So often I have waited for signs or certainty before I dared to take a step. I have delayed joy until all pieces were in place, postponed peace until problems were solved. But faith is not about everything making sense. It is about trusting that you make sense of it all, even when I can see. So even when my vision is blurry, let my feet move with assurance, because your voice is steady and your promises are sure. Lord, help me release my grip on the plans I have written in ink. I have spent so long mapping out every possibility, creating backup plans for my backup plans, trying to avoid disappointment. But I can protect myself from pain by avoiding the unknown. I can only find strength in you. So instead of grasping for control, let me grab hold of your hand. Instead of building walls around my heart, let me anchor it in your truth. Instead of waiting for everything to be clear, let me walk because you have already gone before me. Father, remind me that the unknown is not unkind. It may be unfamiliar, but it is not empty. You are there, shaping what I cannot yet see, preparing moments I have never imagined. Let me trust that what feels like delay is often divine protection. That what looks like an ending might just be a redirection. That what feels like silence could be sacred space, where you are forming something deeper within me. I do not have to understand to believe. I just have to stay close to you. God, I confess that uncertainty still scares me. There is a part of me that craves control, that wants timelines, guarantees, outcomes wrapped in certainty. But I know now that control is an illusion and peace is found in surrender. So I choose to release the weight of needing to know. I hand you my questions, my assumptions, my timelines, my fears. I exchange my anxious striving for restful trust, my worry for worship, my doubt for the quiet courage to keep moving forward. Lord, let me see every unanswered question as an invitation to lean into you, every delay as a reason to deepen my roots, every unknown as a place for awe instead of anxiety. Let me remember that I was never meant to carry tomorrow's weight with today's strength, that you provide what I need day by day. And when I reach the edge of what I know, I will find you there constant, unwavering, ready to guide me one step at a time. Father, thank you for being the kind of God who walks with me through every season, not just the bright and clear ones, but also the murky, confusing, stretching ones. Thank you for staying when I hesitate, for nudging me gently when I stall, and for never losing patience when I backtrack. You do not shame me for my fear. You simply offer your presence as enough. And that is what steadies me, the assurance that I do not have to figure it all out, because I am not walking alone. God, help me redefine what progress looks like. It is not always about leaping forward. Sometimes it is about standing still and refusing to retreat. Sometimes it is found in whispered prayers through trembling lips, or in showing up when I feel broken. Let me count courage not by the size of my steps, but by the strength it takes to trust again today, and tomorrow, and the day after that, because faith is not flashy. It is often quiet, often unnoticed, but always powerful. Lord, I thank you for how you have carried me this far, for the seasons I thought would break me, but instead built something stronger within me, for the closed doors that protected me, for the relationships that changed, the dreams that evolved, the identity that deepened not through certainty, but through walking with you in the unknown. I can see now that every valley held value, every shadow was shaped by light, and every silence was filled with unseen grace. Father, give me discernment as I navigate decisions. Help me not to lean on my own understanding, but to pause, pray, and proceed with peace, Let me be more sensitive to your promptings than to external pressure. Let me follow your rhythm, not the world's rush. Let me remember that no opportunity is worth chasing if it pulls me away from you, and no delay is wasted if it keeps me aligned with your purpose. You are not a God of confusion, but of clarity born from closeness. God, build within me an unshakable faith, one that does not panic when things shift, but pivots with trust, one that is not swayed by bad news or shaken by instability, but remains anchored in truth. Let me be like a tree planted by water steady, nourished, rooted, fruitful even in drought. Let my trust in you be evident not just in words, but in how I live, how I speak, how I show up for others in times of chaos. Lord, help me to encourage those who are walking through their own seasons of uncertainty. Give me words that bring hope, not glitches. Let me offer presence, not pressure. Help me listen well, love deeply, and remind others through my life that it is possible to walk forward even when the path is unclear. Use my journey to shine a light on yours. Use my questions to point to your wisdom. Use my story to reflect your unwavering grace. Father, I choose today to believe again. Even if yesterday was full of doubts, even if my heart feels fragile, even if fear knocks on the door again, I will choose faith. I will choose to remember that I am not forsaken, that every step is held, that every tear is noticed, that every moment, even the messy and uncertain ones, matter deeply to you. Let that be my strength today. Not perfect understanding, but perfect trust. God, remind me that you are not only in the destinations, but in the detours, not only in the mountaintops, but in the middle of the road, not only in the answers, but in the asking. Let me find you in the mundane, in the waiting rooms of life, in the transitions where nothing feels settled. Let those in between spaces become holy ground, because you are there, speaking, shaping, preparing me for what is ahead. Lord, I know that you are writing a story far greater than the one I could script. Help me not to rush the ending. Help me to savor the chapter I am in, even if it is marked with tension and questions. You waste nothing. You miss nothing. And even what I consider small or insignificant is seen and used by you in ways I may never understand. I release my need to see the whole picture. I choose to trust the artist. Father, deepen my roots today. Strengthen my quiet yes to you. Help me walk not with hesitation, but with holy expectation. Let my confidence not be in circumstances, but in your character. Let my joy not depend on results, but on relationship. Let my life be a testament that even in the face of uncertainty, it is possible to walk forward in peace, with open hands, with lifted eyes, with steady faith. Lord, as this sacred journey of morning prayer draws gently to its final breath, I come before you not with closure, but with quiet continuation. My heart, now softened through the unfolding whispers of each moment with you, beats with a slower, steadier rhythm. The anxieties that once clung so tightly have learned to loosen their grip, not because life has suddenly become certain, but because I have met you more deeply within the uncertainty. You did not change all my circumstances. You changed me within them, and that shift has become my quiet revolution. God, I feel the weight of gratitude in ways I cannot always express. Gratitude for the nearness I have felt even in silence, for the comfort that wrapped around my weary thoughts like a warm shawl, for the gentle nudges that pulled me out of discouragement, the soft correction that redirected me when I strayed, the whispered encouragements that reminded me that I was never walking alone. You, the creator of galaxies, stooped low to meet me in the fragile corners of my day, and that alone is a wonder I will never grow tired of. Father, you have taught me that surrender is not weakness. It is the deepest strength, the truest courage to lay down what I thought I had to control and instead cling to the one who holds all things together. You have shown me that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of unshakable hope. And you have reminded me that joy is not something I chase on mountaintops. It is something I discover when I choose to see light even in the valley shadows. Lord, I look back now and see how each chapter, each breath of this prayer, has gently unraveled the knots I have carried for so long. Fear has been faced, doubt has been named, weariness has been acknowledged, and through it all, love has remained, steady, fierce, unchanging. There is something eternal in these daily moments, something of heaven's rhythm quietly humming beneath earth's chaos, and I have found it not by pushing through but by pausing, by being still, by listening to the voice that never rushes but always restores. God, as I prepare to step beyond these pages, I ask you to make this prayer more than words. Make it breath in my lungs. Make it action in my days. Make it light in how I speak, grace in how I respond, courage in how I love. Let each seed planted in silence bloom into fruit that nourishes others. Let this private devotion ripple outward into public kindness, generosity, and compassion. Let this inward anchoring in you be the foundation from which everything else rises. Father, I pray not just for myself now, but for everyone who has walked this journey beside me, those who whispered these words in their own quiet moments, who found tears rising unexpectedly, who felt seen in the lines and pauses, who dared to hope again. May they feel your arms around them even now. May they remember that no night is too long, no ache too deep, no story too far gone for your touch. You are not a distant deity waiting on mountaintops. You are the breath in our lungs, the stillness in our storms, the light seeping through closed curtains. Lord, strengthen the hands that feel too tired to lift again. Renew the hearts that have been bruised by disappointment. Refresh the minds tangled in loops of overthinking and fear. Let there be rest not as a reward, but as a reminder that worth was never measured by striving. Let healing come like a quiet tide, not dramatic but steady, not always noticed but always real. Let there be room for laughter again, for unexpected joy, for delight in the smallest of gifts. God, let this not be an ending but a reawakening, a gentle turning of the soul toward a new kind of listening. Let us move forward not with loud declarations, but with sacred confidence, born from knowing who walks with us. Let us carry this sense of holy quiet into the noise of our schedules, holding space for peace in our conversations, patience in our frustrations, and wonder in the ordinary. Help us to remember that every step taken with you is never wasted, never unseen, never in vain. Father, help us cherish the mundane, the brewing coffee, the sunlight creeping across the kitchen tiles, the rustling of leaves in the wind. Let us no longer rush past the beauty woven into daily life. Let this awareness ground us, still us, remind us that eternity is not just a someday thing. It is found in every surrendered breath, every act of love, every choice to trust again. Let this final breath of prayer echo in our hearts as a living rhythm that shapes how we live and love beyond these words. To those who have journeyed through this morning prayer, thank you for every heart opened, every moment offered in honesty, every tear that fell in silence. You have made this space sacred. Your presence matters here. I invite you now to leave a piece of your heart in the comments below, whether a word, a prayer, or a simple "I was here." Your voice carries light, and someone else may need the warmth it brings. If this prayer has met you where you are, I invite you to share it with someone who may be waiting quietly for a breakthrough. Help carry the light forward. Let this not be the end of a prayer, but the start of a rhythm, one that calls you back each morning, one that grounds your spirit before the world asks too much of you. Subscribe to this channel for more moments like this, moments where hearts realign, where peace is restored, where faith is stirred again. And as you go on with your day, carry this with you. Somewhere, even now, light is rising. A breeze is passing gently through the trees. Water flows downstream, unhurried and sure. And you, steady and beloved, are part of that grace.